get to 6 titles in 6 different weights. That's amazing, isn't it?
Correct, and of course a big one in September against Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah.
It'll be a super fight. It's going to be a type of fight that is going to pencil one of these guys into history.
Yeah.
So I think, and there's a few other guys. I mean, even a guy like Phil Mayweather we talked about, who's going up. Most of the guys are doing it these days. I think as you mature, your body also wants to get bigger.
Yeah, yeah. So I suppose you just let your body get bigger. Let's just move away from the international scene and just look at local boxing. I mean, we saw a good fight taking place yesterday. What are your feelings about local boxing? Are we going in the right direction at the present moment?
I truly think so. I think BSA are also putting the time and effort into it with the development of the new fighters. I think we've got a lack of guys coming through from the amateurs at the moment, but you never know. This is the Olympic year. Maybe next year a few guys come through as well. I think in certain weights we're very, very strong. We can talk about the lightweight division. We got 2 guys, Isaac Soswayo, who of course had a good win against Philip Ndu. And even in the bantamweights, we got a guy like Silas Mabuza and Vuzi Maringa. There's so many guys coming through that I think it's going to be an exciting time in the future in the next 6 to 12 months in South Africa.
Okay. Well, you're talking about only the lightweights. We've never really done, well, I suppose if you look at the heavyweights, we have done relatively well, only just recently. Why do we have more lightweight fighters than heavyweight fighters?
Well, I'm personally blaming the rugby guys because they're taking all the big guys. Yeah, we definitely don't have the amount of big guys coming through as in the past. But we'll see what's going to happen. I truly believe that after Corey's fight last year, we might have a few guys coming through.
Well, just looking at some of the pictures coming through and just waiting for our commentary to also come through. But looking at the pictures coming through from Connecticut and looking at this fighter here, I'm actually not trying to identify who this particular fighter, Sebastian.
Yeah, I think almost if it could be the Steve Forbes fight. I'm just going to make sure here.
But obviously these are the undercard fights, and they look like we're going to have some pretty good matchups. And later on, we should be able to see the Felix Cora and Jamel Barnes as well. And they've got Shamba Mitchell against Moises Pedrosa, Nantachai versus Steve Forbes.
This is a Nantachai fight against Stevie Forbes.
Yeah.
As you can see, the Thai fighter being very strongly built, as always coming forward. But Steve Forbes has got some skills. We're going to see a good fight here.
Well, let's take it to our commentators. Remember the big fight is coming up, Arcelino Freitas and Diego Corrales. Let's go have a listen to the ring announcer introducing the fighters, and we'll catch you later.
Introducing Yatsanan 3K Battery.
First fight outside of Thailand or Japan. His last fight coming in February of this year in Japan. He has won 21 straight bouts, 35 bouts since his last loss was in 1994.
I want you to obey my commands, respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself at all times. This is a good shot, and the trunks are fine. Touch gloves, touch gloves. That's all right. That said it would be a good shot. Touch gloves. Touch, touch, touch. Thank you.
Little animosity before the opening bell here, coming to you from Foxwoods Casino in Mashantucket, Connecticut, on this great night of fighting on Showtime. Later this evening, we do have Arcelino Freitas against Diego Corrales, the main event here on Showtime as we wait for the opening bell.
Bell, bell, bell.
This WBA super featherweight title bout is underway. Both fighters just kind of feeling each other out here. Yatsanan again has not lost since 1994. His last non-win coming as a draw in 1999. Very tentative as we get in the early goings of round one. Steve Forbes last fighting 2 months ago. His last loss was just 10 months ago in October 2003 last year. Carlos Hernandez taking the IBF super featherweight title. Very tentative opening round for these two. Steve Forbes, not exactly the most aggressive of fighters. Yatsanan 3K Battery coming in looking very lean, even though Steve Forbes actually has a 1-inch height advantage. Yatsanan looking a little bit taller, a little bit stronger. Steve Forbes in the green trunks with white trim. Yatsanan in the red and yellow trunks, 3K Battery. Right to the body from Forbes. Flurry of punches from Yatsenon now. The crowd just kind of filing in, just a little bit away from the main event. The great undefeated Brazilian Acelino Freitas, who actually allowed Yatsenon to get the WBA super featherweight title earlier in about 2002. That's when Freitas was appointed super champion. That vacated the super featherweight title. Yatsenon defeating Lakvasim in 2002 for that title and hasn't given it up since.
Hands up, got him.
Forbes' corner yelling at him, saying that Yatsenon just too slow. That may change before this fight is over. Scheduled for 12 rounds. This is a championship bout. WBA super featherweight title up for grabs. Yatsenon the title holder at this point. Of course, Forbes hopes to change that by the end of the night.
Don't punch.
Final seconds of round one. Series from Yatsenon. Trying to make sure Forbes goes back to the corner, remembering that Yatsenon does have a couple of jabs in his arsenal. Let's listen in to the Forbes corner.
Good to see you, baby.
Okay. Yeah, keep going to the body. You're doing very good. The trailer come up. You're doing the work we talked during the week. Relax.
The translator in the corner of Yatsenon 3K Battery comes to you from Thailand. All but one of his fights has been in Thailand. His last fight in Japan, February of this year, successfully defended his super featherweight title against Ruhai Sugita.
I got the stool. Corner's out. Checkers out. Come on.
Round two.
Stay smart. Stay smart.
Underway. Both fighters meeting in the middle of the ring.
Out of boy. Out of way.
At this point, just kind of content, feeling each other out. Yatsenon definitely the more aggressive of the two at this point. Yatsenon landing a left jab to the head. Powerful series from Yatsenon, just kind of pushing him, setting Forbes up, trying to land a couple. Forbes missing. Right hook to Forbes' face from Yatsenon.
For sure. Let him out, Jack. That's it.
Referee making sure that there are no headbutts from Forbes this time around. 10 months ago, the fight against Carlos Alberto Hernandez was actually stopped after Forbes got a headbutt in there. Hernandez suffering that cut. Fight was called after 10 rounds. Carlos Hernandez winning a decision there.
That's it. Keep working.
Series of body shots there from Yatsenon. Landing that one partially. Round one almost definitely went for Yatsenon. Round two is looking a bit like the same result there. Of course, Forbes will try to change that by the end of this round. Yatsenon coming into this fight 42-2-1, 35 of those wins coming by way of knockout, celebrating his 34th birthday in just a few days on the 12th of this month, 27-year-old Steve Forbes comes in 24-2-0. Only 7 of those 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Very vocal corner on Forbes' side. There's the arena at this point, not as full as it will be later tonight for the Freitas Corrales fight. Almost knocking Forbes off balance a little bit there. Probably more of his footwork than it was Yatsenon's punch. Final seconds of round 2. Very aggressive at the end there, very aggressive. Let's listen into Forbes' corner.
Good job. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Let's start doubling up that jab, putting the first one in the shoulder, okay? Okay, now you remember when you go down to the body, he's going to try to counter to the counter.
Check out the replay here. Amazing, just landing a couple of them here, but doesn't seem to fade Yatsenon. And then Yatsenon lands that right to the head of Forbes, and knocking him back just a little bit. Forbes, though, doesn't seem phased. This was toward the end of the round here, just a bit. Exciting fight so far for these two fighters.
Stand up, baby. Start taking control. Feeling good, huh? Look out.
Forbes, a former holder of the IBF super featherweight title. That was vacated, though, as he did not make weight before his fight against David Santos back in August of 2002. And Carlos Hernandez then won that IBF super featherweight title. In their fight in October of last year. Round 3 starting pretty much the same way rounds 1 and 2 did. Fighters just kind of feeling each other out a little bit. To bring you this action from the Foxwoods Casino, Mashantucket, Connecticut. See if Forbes takes any of the advice of his corner there. Doubling up on the jabs, trying to catch Yatsenon 3K battery, leaning just a bit. Yatsenon very tentative in the opening seconds here of round 3. Connecting on a series of body shots with Forbes. .3K battery, 45 fights under his belt, 35 of them coming by way of knockout. Has only lost twice. Last time he did not win was in 1999, and that was actually a draw. The last time he lost, 1994. He's been fighting since 1993. Again, this is 3K battery's first fight in the United States. His last fight in Japan. His previous 44 fights in Thailand. Yatsenon in the yellow and red trunks. Steve Forbes in the green with white trim. The final minute now of round 3. Yatsenon connecting with a right to the body. This very quiet crowd, as it fills in, will probably get a bit rambunctious as the hometown, at least from the standpoint of the United States, it's the hometown boy, Steve Forbes, as this fight goes on. You hear Forbes' corner yelling out 20 seconds. Let's see if the end of round 3 is anything like the ends of round 1 and 2. A flurry of shots, certainly enough. 3K battery coming after Forbes now. Rights and lefts. Both fighters just exchanging blows. flurry at the end of round 3. Johnson on 3K battery, going back to his corner. Now very confident. Let's listen in, if we can, to the translation in 3K battery's corner. Replay. Just a series of shots. This is just toward the end of the round now. Series of shots. Could just imagine how tired these fighters would be if they fought all 9 minutes so far of this fight like that. Just treating the fans to 15, maybe 20, 30 seconds of this each round, but both fighters just fighting the match they want at this point, although the Forbes corner would like a couple more combinations throughout the round rather than just waiting toward the end of it.
Right out of there.
Judges likely scoring 3K battery. Likely has 3K battery in the lead so far with all 3 rounds. Forbes not very aggressive. Yatsenan definitely on the offensive. Starting round 4 the same way they've started rounds 1 through 3, just very tentative, just kind of feeling each other out a little bit. Yatsenan, series of shots to the body. May have connected one right there to the head of Forbes. Knocking Forbes back a little bit. 3K battery with a right. It may have been more of Forbes' footwork than it was 3K's right to the head there. .3K battery seemed to be challenging Steve Forbes there. Go ahead and hit me. Go ahead and hit me right there in the body there. Forbes, right before the fight began, complaining a little bit that 3K's shorts were a little bit too high, but referees say no, that's been checked out. Steve Smoger, the referee, this his 107th world title bout. Forbes doing a decent job of blocking Yatsenan's jabs there. Forbes may have gotten a body shot in there on 3K. Halfway through round 4, coming to you from Foxwoods Casino, Mashantucket, Connecticut.
Punch out, let him out.
Flurry there. Referee's going to have to get out of the way. Yatsenan's right uppercut almost got a piece of that on his own chin. Hard to call the fight when you're laying on the canvas. Again, Forbes has got to be careful of that headbutt. That's what stopped the fight he had in 10 months ago against Carlos Hernandez. Forbes not disqualified, but created a cut there. Doctor called the fight. Forbes and Yatsenan just trading blows to the body there. 3K landing a left to the head. Has Forbes reeling here on the defensive. Another left jab. 20 seconds left in round 4. And this is usually where the flurry begins for both fighters. They just start going after each other, touch gloves, agree to, here we go. .3K may have landed one on the right ear there. Ending round 4, putting his hands up triumphantly, the WBA super featherweight title holder seems to be pleased with how this round 4 ended there.
This fight is yours if you want it, okay?
Okay. Forbes corner really obviously not pleased.
Okay. Only thing he's doing
how their fighter is
working you a little bit more.
Working
okay?
this match.
The man is right there. Keep your defense tight. Start shooting them straight punches down the socket. Do not give the man no confidence, okay? Okay. He's already been confused, but you slowly.
3K definitely ending the round with some confidence there. Not really sure where that confusion that Forbes corner was talking about, where that confusion came in, but Forbes may have come back at the end of this round confused, landing this shot right here. Powerful shot to the head there right at the end of round 4 there. Round 5 now underway. Just as tentative as rounds 1 through 4 so far, at least in the opening seconds here. This 3K's first fight in the United States. Turning 34 in just a few days on the 12th of this month. Both of these fighters just usually very tentative, might get a couple punches in here or there in the first minute or so of round 5. Very similar to the styles of the early rounds. .3K just sizing Forbes up now against the ropes. Very tentative, except for the little flurry now from 3K. Trying to use that powerful right. Trying to get the combination in there. A blow to the body. Yatsanan standing 5'6", Forbes an inch taller, but it's 3K that looks like the taller, leaner fighter. Definitely more powerful, at least the way he looks, wearing his Air Jordans. Forbes trying to get in the combination. Yatsen returns. May have gotten a shot to the right ear here. Forbes may have actually deflected that just at the last second. Forbes may have landed one on the chin there of 3K. Got the closing seconds now of round 5, just about 20 seconds left of this scheduled 12-round fight. The WBA super featherweight title is up for grabs. Yatsanan currently holds that. Not quite the flurry we're used to, maybe just one punch there. Not quite the flurry we're used to from these two fighters at the end of rounds. Coming to you from Mashantucket, Connecticut, Foxwoods Casino. Showtime later this evening, of course. Acelino Freitas will defend his title. He is currently undefeated, 35-0. Will defend that against Diego Corrales, 38-2-0 later.
Beautiful guy. Check. Yes. Belt is going to stay right here, right? Yeah. He's going to kick his ass. No problem. Nose is bleeding. Nose is bleeding. Crew. Jump up, jam. Jump up.
The beginning of round 6 now. Halfway through, almost, this scheduled 12-round championship fight. Later on, as I mentioned, we do have Acelino Freitas defending his title against Diego Corrales. Two fighters, as usual, in the early rounds. Round 6, a very tentative opening minute. Couple punches. 3K trying to change that here. Forbes' corner was right just a couple rounds ago. 3K just oozing confidence with those combinations, coming in with the right, usually to the head, then following that up with a couple shots to the body. Yatsanan, the veteran of this duo here, 34 years old later this week, 45 fights under his belt. Forbes just 27 years old, only 26 fights under his belt. Yatsanan definitely the more powerful fighter if you go by records and knockouts. 35 of Yatsanan's 42 wins by way of knockout. Only 7 of Forbes' 24 wins by way of KO. Forbes' corner telling him that he's just standing right there. Of course, it's easier said than done. Forbes' footwork and balance again coming into question here just a couple seconds ago. Almost losing his balance, not so much maybe from the punch, but from his footwork. Shot to the body by Yatsanan. 3K just coming after Forbes. Everything Forbes does seems to be just in response to 3K. 3K definitely on the offensive. Forbes' corner telling him he's got to be quicker with his feet. Closing 10 seconds of round 6, halfway through this bout. See if we get the flurry that we're used to from these two fighters. Not quite the flurry we're used to, but nonetheless, we've got more of a crowd now as the Acelino Freitas Diego Corrales fight comes up.
เพื่อหน้ามาปุ๊บงัดขึ้นมาอยู่นะเวลานั่นเราเบี่ยงเวลามันมีปัดเราเบี่ยงเวลาต่อยขวาอันนี้การเก่งนี่แขนกลุ่มตัวลงที่ขวาแล้วไปปั๊มที่เราเป็นJack okay let's go get him Jack okay Jack ทีแล้วนะจะประมาทก้มหัวต่อยแล้ว
We start round 7 here from Foxwoods Casino in Mashantucket, Connecticut.
Good idea. Excellent idea.
We'll probably have to give all 6 rounds so far to 3K Battery. Steve Forbes, unless he wins the next 6 rounds, is definitely going to have to get some power going if he wants to stop 3K Battery out of Thailand. Steve Forbes in the green with white trim. 3K Battery in the red and yellow trunks. 3K's first fight in the United States. Flurry from Forbes. A combination we haven't seen yet this evening from Steve Forbes. Landing several of those punches.
That's a fashion statement that didn't really need to be made, Steve. And on the inside, both these fighters, actually this has been a tremendous fight in truth.
3K managing to get a couple right hands in there. Trading body blows now. Forbes landing a couple of blows to the head.
How's that for an insightful comment? Look at what you're seeing. We have seen some tremendous exchanges in this fight. If you'll notice, it says 3K on the
referee trying to break them apart there.
There's an M.
Yatsanan's defense here following the several accommodations from Forbes.
What that means is in Thai, in the native tongue, it means don't hit me there. That's funny, you know.
Thank you.
You'd have made me laugh.
Steve Forbes so far winning this round.
Thank you very much. Yatsanan, 3K Battery, and of course you know why they call him 3K.
1 minute left in round 7. This WBA Super Featherweight title match.
battery. And
Forbes missing with that left hook.
3K battery. There's been very seldom.
Forbes trying to get a couple shots into the body, trying to wear 3K out.
You good? We're good. We are dandy. Can I
Final
ask
seconds,
you a
around
question,
7.
David? And just say no if you don't want to. I already ran it by Al. After he answers his first question on the air, Al, you know, about the thoughts about the significance of tonight's bout, would it be in bad taste or humorous taste to say, Al, would you mind if I go out on a limb and make a bold prediction, you know, about tonight's fight? And he'll go, yeah, what's that, Steve? And I'll say, with a straight face, Williams in 4.
10 seconds left here in round 7.
Maybe
this WBA super featherweight title on the line.
It's very dry humor. It's
humor,
you know that.
A late punch, it looks like. Forbes nodding his head, saying, bring it to me.
Okay.
It's really one of the first times we've heard this crowd at the end of a round.
Joel just won $1.
It's this loud.
Do number work on it. You cannot out-fight you on the inside. All you gotta do
listen to everybody.
We'd have to probably score round 7 to Steve Forbes.
Forget the pitch pass.
Several combinations.
A couple times they come with the short shots, okay?
On his
He's leaning
heels.
over, okay?
Okay.
Let's check out some of these
So now we're
exchanges between these two 130-pound fighters. Forbes definitely getting the best of this match so far, or this round, I should say. Although at least from Steve Forbes' standpoint, probably this is the first round he's been able to win. Opening seconds of round 8 now. Let's see. Not as tentative as before. Usually they don't start exchanging like this until about maybe 45 seconds to a minute in. Forbes not quite going after 3K. There he goes. Spoke too soon. Forbes landing a right uppercut to the bottom of 3K's chin. Trying to come after Yatsanan. Yatsanan barely missing with that right hook. Of course, this fight coming to you just a couple fights before now, or a couple minutes before Acelino Freitas and Diego Corrales. Halfway through round 8 now. Oh, Forbes landing a shot to 3K's head. It's one of the cleanest shots he's landed so far this fight. One minute left in round 8 now. This has probably been the most action-packed round so far from start to finish. Usually they'd couple flurries here and there, but this one has been every few seconds exchanges and combinations. 4-punch combination there from Forbes. Yatsanan trying to come back. Landed one there, Forbes did. Forbes' corner just urging Steve to just keep going, keep going. 15 seconds now in round 8. Again, this has probably been the most action-packed round so far. And I have to say that after losing the first 6 rounds to 3K, Steve Forbes, Steve 2-pound Forbes, has Steve Forbes, again, a flurry of what appear to be late punches, but Steve Forbes, after losing the first 6 rounds, or at least it appeared he did, coming back and strong fighting in the last 2 rounds, rounds 7 and 8, have got to go to Steve Forbes. .3K Battery trying not to lose for the first time since 1994. 35 straight fights he's not lost. 21 straight since his last draw. That was in 1999. This Yatsenon's 46th fight of his 11-year career. Yatsenon landed maybe just one clear. That was after the bell right there. Forbes just kind of staring him down. 3K escorted back to his corner. .3K's corner definitely telling him that he's got this fight on point so far. But if Forbes can keep it up with his combinations the way he's been doing, 3K might not make it for the decision. Very aggressive, both fighters here in the opening seconds of round 9. Again, this is a scheduled 12-round bout for the WBA super featherweight title, which Yatsenon won back in 2002. That title actually vacated by Asenuno Freitas. He'll defend his lightweight title against Diego Corrales later. .3K just kind of resetting here. He need to kind of gather himself the way he did in the first 6 rounds. Because Forbes has really just kind of taken over this fight in the last 2 rounds.
Don't punch, step out.
Referee's got to break him up a little bit there. As I mentioned before, Forbes has got to be careful when they get close like that. The headbutts. A headbutt is what stopped the fight against Carlos Hernandez 10 months ago, giving the title to IBF super featherweight title to Hernandez. The action here around 9, nothing like the action of rounds 7 and 8. What will they do in this last minute here? They usually spend the last maybe 20, 30 seconds of the round exchanging blows. Forbes getting 3K on the ropes. 3K just trying to punch his way out there. Successfully does, pushes Forbes just a little bit out of the way.
Don't punch, step.
Steve Smoger, the referee, getting in there, his 107th world title fight here. Veteran referee letting these 2 fighters just usually just punch their way out of the breaks there. Closing seconds now of round 9. .3K raising his right arm in victory, but he's got a couple more rounds to go before what looks like the decision. At this point, there's neither fighter really landing anything cleanly, at least not enough to
He showed you that.
knock any of the other fighters out.
Your jab, pick up the speed. The man does not have nothing left in the late rounds. We know that.
Okay.
You got to start breaking this man down. You got to start hurting this man.
Okay.
Okay is not good enough. I need to see it.
Let's go.
Some motivation there from Forbes' corner. See if he delivers for his corner the last 3 rounds.
Move, Jack, move.
3 more rounds. 3 more rounds.
Haven't really heard much from 3K Battery in his corner there, telling his corner, okay, we got it. Very confident 3K Battery. A couple tentative fighters in the early seconds of round 10. Yatsunan landing several punches there. Maybe he's letting his corner know that, yeah, this is my fight. Had to give the last 3 rounds, I'd say, to Forbes. After Yatsunan taking the first 6 rounds, definitely saw a very aggressive, more aggressive Forbes. Series of right hands there from Yatsunan. Forbes doing a fairly good job so far of deflecting those hooks and jabs from Yatsunan. This arena filling up in anticipation of the Marcelino Freitas and Diego Corrales fight from the Foxwoods Casino, Mashantucket, Connecticut. 3K just looks like he's just kind of measuring Forbes a little bit there, almost baiting him. But if the last 3 rounds are any indication of Forbes' power and skill, you don't really want to bait 2 pound. Round 10 here of this scheduled 12-round bout. Steve 2-pound Forbes in the green and white trim trunks. 3K in the red and yellow. The flames coming up from the Air Jordan shoes there, the Jumpman. Landing a left hand on Forbes' chin. Still not powerful enough. Nothing's really landing cleanly enough to knock any of these fighters out. 3K just kind of staring Forbes down there a little bit, stopping in his shoes. .30 seconds left in round 10 now. This crowd definitely in Steve Forbes' corner. The first 6 rounds, a very quiet crowd. The last 3 rounds with Forbes landing all those combinations and winning all those exchanges. Crowd on its feet. Very raucous crowd, but round 10 probably having to go to 3K Battery, Yatsunan Nankachai. Forbes' corner probably very disappointed with the round 10 performance, at least coming off what he fought like in rounds 7, 8, and 9. Yatsunan definitely winning the combinations here as we look overhead. The Foxwoods Casino almost catching Forbes there, but Forbes was able to gather himself and go on in the round.
You need to tell me okay loud, baby, like you mean it. Okay, baby. You gotta mean it. I mean it. You recover. You have to go get the title now, okay? You gotta go get the title.
The WBA Super Featherweight title is what the corner is talking about there, currently held by 3K Battery. He has held it since April of 2002 when he took care of Lak Basim, unanimous decision in 12 rounds. Of course, it was Forbes who not too long ago actually held the IBF Super Featherweight title, beating John Brown in December of 2000 and successfully defending that title in September of 2001, but then having to vacate it as he fought David Santos in August of 02. Kind of a rocky relationship with Steve Forbes in the IBF super featherweight title. But this is for the WBA super featherweight title, currently held by 3K Battery, who hasn't lost since 1994. He's only lost twice in his career, with one draw, and that draw coming back in 1999. He has since won 21 straight fights. This is his first fight in the United States. The last one in Japan, the 44 previous in Thailand. Very tentative round 11 so far. Probably have to consider that flurry from 3K Battery there as he was put against the ropes. Probably have to consider that 3K is leading this about 7 rounds to 3 just from the observations here. Obviously, we have no idea as the judges scoring. 3K just kind of baiting Forbes a little bit, just kind of playing with him. Rounds 7 through 9 are any indication might not want to play with Steve Forbes. Forbes almost had 3K against the ropes there. 3K pushed out. Forbes landing a left, 3K's head. Good combination here. See if we get that flurry that we're used to from these two fighters at the end of a round. Ten seconds left. Round 11 of this WBA super featherweight title fight. Not quite the flurry we're used to at the end of a round. 1 round left. These two fighters probably have to give that last one also to 3K Battery. So if this announcer's observations are anything, we probably have 3K Battery
go 5 and 6 punches.
leading 8 rounds to 3.
Last one.
And Forbes corner
Make up your mind. You're
kind of spelling it out for him just a little bit. He's probably going to have to get a knockout if he wants to win this fight.
We let that one get away. We got one recourse, okay? Knock him out, okay? You got to go out and knock him out, or either he's going to knock you out.
It's pretty much his only option. Pretty much his only option. Not really going to be able to win on points. Very unique tactics there in 3K Battery's corner. 3K saying, come on. The fighters touching gloves, making sure this last round is a good one. Round 12, opening seconds. The final round. Forbes is going to need a knockout if he wants to win this fight and take the WBA super featherweight title away from 3K Battery, Yatsanan Nantachai out of Thailand, bringing that title back to the United States. Great combination there from Forbes, obviously realizing he needs to take care of 3K before that bell sounds, or this fight will definitely go in Yatsanan's favor. Steve Forbes last fighting in June of this year. Yatsanan last fought in February. So Yatsanan, if rest is any indication, definitely showing it here. 3K just trying to avoid those punches at this point. He's trying to make sure he doesn't catch one to the chin. very quiet round 12, relatively speaking. Oh, 3K taking a shot to the head. An exciting round 12 here. Steve Forbes just letting it all hang out, trying to make sure Yadsanan does not make it to the end of this round. That's really the only way that Forbes is going to be able to take this fight. Steve Forbes just trying to lay it out there, leave it all on the canvas, leave it in the ring. He may not get the knockout, but he's definitely got his corner's respect there, trying to make sure that Yadsanan doesn't make it to the bell. 30 seconds left in this fight.
Hands are loose. Bell, it's over. Okay.
And the referee has the right words there. It's over. It doesn't look like Forbes is going to win this one. 3K battery. Raising his hands in what is almost certain victory. You can see the disappointment on Forbes' face. This fight, it looks as if Yadsanan has won his 22nd straight fight. The last time he lost was 1994. The last time he didn't win was 1999. He had a draw there while he was holding the PABA super featherweight title. Currently holds the WBA super featherweight title, and it doesn't look like he's going to give that up tonight. Catching Forbes there with the left right at the end of the round. Forbes will not soon forget that left hand. Posing for pictures is this win here is a certainty. Right now just getting the official scores from the judges.
I feel like I had him hurt a few times.
Here Forbes there saying he did have him hurt a couple times, and he did. Round 7, 8, and 9 definitely went to Forbes there.
Good job, baby. Good job. Good job. Good job. Terrific show. Terrific show.
Folks there at Showtime Championship Boxing, welcoming you, of course, to Foxwoods Casino in Mashantucket, Connecticut. The main event coming up, Acelino Freitas and Diego Corrales. Acelino coming in, the Brazilian, 35-0, 31 of those 35 victories coming by way of knockout. Diego Corrales coming in.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action,
31
we go
knockouts
to the
of his 38
we have a
wins.
unanimous decision. All three judges scored about exactly the same, 117 to 111. All three in favor of the winner and still champion, Yadsanan 3K battery.
Really not a surprise there.
Very powerfully coming through.
69.
Stepping up to his mark. This is clearly an important moment. He's cleared it. On his first attempt, he's through to the next round. Well done, Jacques.
With 8 dedicated channels, you'll get the best possible view of the Olympics, 13 to 29 August. DSTV decoders at our lowest prices ever, while stocks last.
It has been an emotional week for an emotional man. His wife had an emergency appendectomy this past Wednesday night. The father of his trainer, Oscar Suarez, suffered a stroke. However, happy to report both doing better. In fact, his wife, Eliana, is on hand tonight. But many anxious moments leading up to the biggest fight in the career of Marcelino Freitas. The most charismatic fighters in the world, Brazil's most significant champion of the past quarter century, a major star in his homeland. He has prepared for this moment like he has never prepared before. Undefeated Marcelino Freitas, and he hears it from the crowd. He has fans all over the place. We are set to size him up as we check out the tail of the tape. Freitas will turn 29 next month. Corrales will be 27 in almost 3 weeks. Biggest disparity in height, where Corrales brings a 4.5-inch advantage. However, the reach almost even. You'd think Corrales would have the big ace. At yesterday's weigh-in, Freitas just under, Corrales right on. And the notable unified rules for this world title affair. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt occurs before the end of the 4th round, the fight is ruled a no decision. If it happens after the end of round 4, they go to the scorecard. An electrifying atmosphere here at Foxwoods Resort Casino in Mashantucket, Connecticut, getting ready for Marcelino Freitas versus Diego Corrales for the WBO Lightweight Championship. Let's get the official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to Foxwoods Resort Casino here in Mashantucket, Connecticut, as we are ready for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Arthur Palullo's Banner Promotions in association with Gary Shaw Productions, Foxwoods, and Showtime. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the WBO President and Supervisor Francisco Valcarcel, along with the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation Athletic Commission. The chairman is Joseph Carter, vice chairman is Richard Butler, Commissioner Peter Timothy, and executive director Joe Letellier. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Michael Schwartz, Dr. Anthony Alessi, Dr. Joe Carpentieri, and Dr. Kevin McGuire. Our timekeeper at the bell, Phyllis Roy. Keeping count of the knockdowns, Roland Roy. Now introducing our three judges scoring this bout from ringside. From Brick, New Jersey, Tom Kazmarek. From Ardsley, New York, Melvina Lathan. And from Providence, Rhode Island, Dr. Clark Sammartino. And our referee in charge, he will be giving instructions after the introductions, Michael Ortega. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Lightweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Foxwoods, it's showtime! Introducing to you first, ladies and gentlemen, the challenger on my right. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with black trim. He is fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Sacramento, California. He weighed in at the lightweight limit of 135 pounds even. His record stands at 38 wins, 2 losses with 31 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently ranked the WBO #1 lightweight contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former IBF and WBO junior lightweight champion of the world, introducing Diego Chico Corrales. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner, the defending world champion, wearing gold trunks with red trim. He is the pride of Salvador, Brazil. He weighed in at a ready 134 1/2 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with 35 wins, no losses, 31 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former WBA and WBO at 130-pound world champion and the current undefeated WBO lightweight champion of the world, introducing Asalino Popo Once again, our referee in charge, Michael Ortega, now to give instructions.
Gentlemen, the trunks are high. From here up is good. Pantalones tan alto. Aquí arriba está bien. When I set out los dos, good luck to both of you. Touch them up. Coge la mano.
Immediately evident Corrales' size advantage. Freitas' take, not a problem. One of the best counter punchers in the business. Asalino Freitas told us he will exploit Diego Corrales with lateral movement using his foot speed. Popo is generally a fast starter. Chico has had difficulty with guys who move around a lot, like Mayweather and Casamayor, but he made the adjustments in the second Casamayor fight. A combination of two-fisted power, a leaky defense, questionable chin, and a terrific heart. A formula for fireworks. Won't be a surprise if both go down. This could be a tremendous fight.
You know, it's important to note that Freitas is coming in off a 7-month layoff, his second longest of his career. And for Corrales, this is the first right-hander he has fought in over a year. He fought Damian Fuller, then Joel Casamayor twice in a row, so he's seeing something he hasn't seen for a while.
Some nice left hooks there by Marcelino Freitas. Another left hook. A major curiosity, what will happen if both Freitas and Corrales stand toe-to-toe and trade their best shots? We may see a double knockdown.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's happening here in round one. While it's true Freitas is moving, both men are sustaining the action. Somebody's going to get hit with a big shot soon.
And Freitas, very aggressive, with a left-right combination upstairs. And Freitas using a lot of side to side, a lot of lateral movement to try and confuse Diego Corrales. Chico's trainer, Joe Goosen, felt that Freitas would be on his bicycle. Corrales said he wasn't so sure. But Chico, who's probably had the better level of competition, told us it would be a mistake for Freitas to come to war, feeling that he, Corrales, hits harder.
One thing that's happening early in this fight is Freitas is throwing a lot of left hooks, some very wide. That could be a very dangerous tactic for him as this fight goes on. He could easily be countered by Corrales.
And more recently, Freitas has become very awkward, herky-jerky, and unorthodox, which Corrales says he is ready for. Corrales looking to cut off the ring, use his jab and his hooks. And there's that side-to-side, frequently used by Freitas. Freitas walked into one, and then a left hook to the neck, but not much behind it. Freitas looking the better of the two here in the opening round thus far.
A little low.
There's a body shot with a left hand by Freitas. Freitas scoring more regularly. But as mentioned, Corrales' punches might have a little more sizzle to them right here.
Corrales has not got, he established his jab very well against Casamayor. And there you see it. If he uses that punch a little bit more, it'll help him find the range with the hooks and the straight right hand. But Freitas' movement, of course, is an issue in that regard.
Of course, Corrales' signature punch is the left hook. Very good right hand as well. And for Freitas, it's the right hand. And he just nailed Corrales with the right as they trade at the bell. Interesting first round.
Why was it beautiful? Tested him a little bit. You felt his powers. You got any power to him? Okay. That doesn't mean you get lazy with your defense. Okay. Start banging that javelin. Start trying to find that a little bit where you know he's going to come over it. When you get into a little slugfest with him there, do what you did. Come up the middle, keep that chin tucked. No sucker punches on you because your chin is tucked. Okay, you hurt him twice that round. You know that, don't you?
Marcelino Freitas against the ropes. Now, he wants very much to land those counter right hands, and he landed a couple of them. Despite the fact that he was wild with the punch, they did get in. That's what Freitas wants to land.
Got it.
Marcelino Freitas has 19 knockouts within 2 rounds. Remember, he knocked out his first 29 opponents. Round 2 scheduled for 12 for the WBO Lightweight Championship. Long-awaited showdown between Marcelino Freitas and Chico Corrales. Big right hand by Freitas to the chin.
You know, that's something that's got to be a little alarming to the Corrales people. Earlier, before the right you just referenced, there was another one that landed by Freitas. I don't think they anticipated he could land those rights with that kind of regularity against Corrales.
Now Corrales moving in, stalking, but Freitas tying him up. Freitas very elusive. Every once in a while does get nailed. But he has been landing more. Left hand that got through by Marcelino Freitas. A long left. Almost a 5-inch height advantage for Corrales. Big right hand by Freitas and a countering right by Corrales. But I think Freitas got the better. Corrales going to the jab now. Couple of lefts again by Marcelino Freitas.
You know, Freitas is getting away early in this match with those wild, wide left hooks. Whether that'll continue remains to be seen, but as long as he gets away with it, he'll throw it. You know, we've seen many fights before where those unorthodox punches, Steve, don't get countered by people.
Again, a series of wide shots, but we'll see if Corrales can counter with a straight right hand. Corrales unleashes a nice left hook to the jaw.
Best punch of the fight for Corrales, by far. He's getting the whole package of the unorthodox Acelino Freitas in his first 2 rounds, and it's a load full to handle, and Corrales is having a little bit of a hard time landing those punches, although he's had a better second round.
Yeah, it may be a relief, as you said, for Chico not to be facing a southpaw, but he does have a load in front of him here in Freitas. Freitas with a smacking left upstairs. That left has really found a home here in the first 2 rounds.
Very close second round, though. This will be one of those that if this goes the distance, we'll look back on this round, and it could be pivotal in a certain way.
The elusive Acelino Freitas slipping punches. Oh, a hard left on the inside by Diego Corrales. That certainly got Freitas' attention. Freitas still dancing around. Corrales' trainer, Joe Goosen, had to predict it. Now Freitas digging to the body. Freitas really up on his toes. Corrales more flat-footed. Our translator is Anibal Miramontes, translating the Portuguese spoken in the corner of Freitas.
You need to give more concentration.
Vamos a concentrar un poquillo más en el golpe al pecho.
We're going to concentrate a little more with the punch on the chest. You need to cross it. You need to cross it.
La mano no me la saque, porque quiero por bien directo. Ese ya muy duro.
Early in the round, Acelino Freitas was able to get this lead right hand in, and he's, well, actually followed a jab, and that's the kind of rights that he landed pretty well early. But the left hook of Corrales, a very important weapon for him. There's a nice, short, compact one. Maybe his best punch of the fight.
It is round 3 scheduled for 12 for the WBO lightweight championship. Acelino Freitas in the gold trunks with the red trim. Nice combination to the head by Freitas. Corrales in the white with the black trim. Freitas 35-0 with 31 knockouts. Corrales 38-2, 31 knockouts. The Brazilians and the Freitas fans chanting Acelino's name. Popo, his nickname.
I'm sure Chico Corrales didn't expect the crowd to be this partisan on behalf of Freitas. Obviously, Brazilians come out from whatever community Freitas fights in, and right now they're very much on his side.
There is a heavy population of Brazilians in the Boston area, which is not far from Foxwoods. And when Freitas fights, always a strong contingent of Brazilian fans on hand, and they always drown out the competition.
Corrales landed a very nice straight right hand a moment ago. Now, one thing we've seen from Freitas, and this speaks to what Joe Goosen suggested, he said he'd test his power early, test Corrales' power early, then move. One of the things that's happening now, though, is Freitas is moving well, but not landing that many punches, as he was in the first round and a half.
Freitas doesn't want to fight going backwards. Usually successful when he stops, leaps in, and lands his power shots. The right hand. Corrales can fight going in either direction. He's had success. Of course, the key for Chico when he attacks, got to remember the defense, particularly versus someone with Freitas' power. Again, so much movement by Acelino Freitas. Moves to the left, moves to the right. Never in one place. Right hand to the chest area by Freitas.
That was an excellent right hand, and I think that momentarily stunned Diego Corrales, had an impact on him. The hand speed of Freitas right now, better, I think, than Chico Corrales expected.
And the foot speed as well. That's what's really doing a number on Corrales here. Freitas looking so confident.
Can Freitas sustain this over the course of 12 rounds? There's a lot of energy being expended, both in movement and punching, and it's a very, very active performance. Certainly more active, for instance, than we saw against Gregorian the last time he appeared on Showtime.
Freitas fueled by emotion, fueled by the fans. Missed with the right hand, bouncing off the ropes. There's a left-right combination and an answer with the right hand by Chico Corrales upstairs. But Freitas eluded that last series of attempts by Corrales.
Staves on the shoulder. You got to put a little bit more up and down pressure. You got to get a little bit cuter on him. You know what I mean? Because he's going to keep running like that. So you got to start forcing him. Okay, but force smart. Don't run in at him. But I just thought I want you to keep that gradual motion coming. Just try to feint a little bit, come back, try to draw him into some punches.
Where my head? Where my head? Where my head?
Rub it?
Wet me.
Oh. Okay.
Diego Corrales, his left hand, you'll see it right here, will be a good countering shot as the left hand of Freitas came in, and then Corrales got him with a good left hand. And for Acelino Freitas, a good straight right hand up the middle. That's been the story of this fight, really, for Freitas.
It is round 4. We were talking to Joel Casamayor, who's fought both these guys. He told us he felt Corrales would go down in this fight, but would get off the canvas to win, using his smarts against the Brazilian Acelino Freitas. We shall see.
A little low. Keep him up. Let's go.
Both fighters recently showing that they are not one-dimensional. Of course, they rely heavily on their power, but they've also shown that they have good technical skills in their last few fights.
Freitas is convinced that Corrales is more one-dimensional than him, and I think he believes he has the edge in hand speed. Now, we saw Corrales against Casamaro box well with using the jab. He's not been able to land the jab, and in this sequence, we see why. Freitas has given him such good lateral movement that Corrales just can't get that jab in to slow him down.
Corrales digging to the midsection as he was holding it with the left hand. Freitas picking his shots, missing wildly with those attempts.
Diego Corrales must make Freitas pay when he does all that wild missing, and he is not. He didn't even look to counter Freitas.
Watch your head inside.
Look at Freitas on the ropes making Corrales miss. So far, the headline of this fight is the defense and elusiveness of Acelino Freitas.
That left hand was blocked by the glove of Corrales. Oh, that was Corrales who got burned. It looked like Corrales was on the march, but a beautiful countering shot by Freitas.
We talked before the fight about the counter right hands of Acelino Freitas. That was a beauty about 15 seconds ago, and I'll tell you what, that landed flush in the head of Corrales.
Just corkscrewed his head. Again now Corrales going to the body.
There you go.
We approach 30 seconds remaining in round 4, scheduled for 12.
I mentioned a 7-month layoff of Freitas. No indication that that's a problem. In his own unorthodox way, he's been as sharp as a tack.
And he dominated his last victim, Artur Gregorian, the longtime lightweight champ, with 4 knockdowns, although a couple of them were questionable. But still, it was all pulpo. We head for the bell in round 4. Nice sequence by Corrales.
Freitas moving not quite so quickly in the last 30 seconds of the round.
¿Cómo estamos? Bem, tranquilo.
You need to stop. You need to stop running. Stop looking for to punch in his head. You need to stop hitting higher. Okay, breathe. Are you okay? Are you okay? Stop go head hunting. You need to hit the body. Cross to the body. Stop head hunting.
I know. I'm going to tell the ref. I'm going to tell the ref right now. I'm going to tell the ref right now. Hey, Mike.
Mike, you got to ring that bell loud because there's a bell back there. I can't hear. He's bending down low.
Well, that's legal, though.
Oscillato Freitas expending a lot of energy through the first 4 rounds. We'll see what happens from this point on. They seem very concerned in his corner about his win. And a body shot with the left hand by Oscillato Freitas, who continues to move around a lot. Joe Goosen concerned that Freitas was pulling Corrales' head down. And then Michael Ortega, the referee, spitting back to Goosen. Well, Corrales is bending down too low, but Goosen said, well, that's legal.
You know, this is a very frenetic but effective performance by Oscillato Freitas, but it does lead one to say that will this adrenaline wear off? Will he slow down? And will he be a target for Corrales, who just threw a low left hand? But not a bad idea for Corrales to get downstairs to the body, which he has not done very effectively so far in this bout.
The press row scores. Greg Leon from BoxingTalk.com, Franklin McNeil, Newark Star-Ledger, Terry Price, Hartford Current. They've all got the Freitas ahead.
I have it 39-37 for Freitas, so I'm pretty much in the mix with what they have.
Right hand off the top of the head by Corrales. That stunned Freitas momentarily. Corrales showing some signs all of a sudden here. But the movement continues by Freitas, who eludes those tries by Corrales.
You know, it's interesting. Freitas told us you'll see in the full nice hook on the inside by Corrales. That was a superb punch.
A mouthpiece comes flying out of Freitas' mouth.
Bad break for Corrales because he had him hurt. That's what sent the mouthpiece out.
They take the time to clean it off during a lull. That's the rule, and now Michael Ortega brings him back in.
Freitas told us you'll see my strategy in the first minute of the first round, but actually it's been just the opposite. In the first minute of the first round, he was very aggressive, and Joe Goosen's thought was right. Then he decided to be a complete boxer. So a very different strategy since that first minute.
Freitas missing wildly again, and Corrales not jumping on the opportunity.
Corrales is starting, though, to find the range with that left hook. You see how he's countering with the left when Freitas throws the right hand. And he landed a very good one early in this round. But he's still being outworked by Freitas.
But a stalking Chico Corrales continues to move forward. Measuring Popo out. But Freitas just so fast with the hands. And Oscillato just continues to bounce around. Nice right hand just before the bell by Freitas to the jaw.
Every so often, use that little lead right hand in there where you get close, surprise them. But if you're going to use that lead right hand, drop that chin good. Got it, okay? Now the right hand's starting to catch up with him a little bit. And your counter left hook. Okay, when he starts going to the body, that left hook's catching him. He'll sometimes throw it up. You know, you knocked his mouthpiece out with that left uppercut.
Feel like you go 15, baby? Oh, yeah. Let's do 15 then, goddamn.
Well, this is what Joe Goosen was describing to Diego Corrales, this left half hook, half uppercut that would knock the mouthpiece of Freitas out as they were working on the inside. There it was, a good short left hook, and the mouthpiece flew right out, and it was a good break for Freitas that the referee stopped the action so quickly because Corrales was on the attack.
to help keep that catch going.
There are welts on the neck of Chico Corrales. I see it on the right side from a headlock by Acelino Freitas. Something Joe Goosen was complaining about earlier.
Nice little uppercut by Freitas, and then the jab of Corrales. Corrales will really, when he looks back at the tapes of this fight, will be very distressed that over the first half of this fight he couldn't get the jab in better.
Well, countering shot there by Acelino Freitas.
Corrales, upon the advice of Joe Goosen, really going back to that left hook. And I tell you, if I was Corrales, I would be throwing that punch as much as possible.
Here's somewhat of a surprise, Al. We're in the 6th round, no knockdowns yet.
Yeah, but a very active and spirited fight.
No question about that. It has been entertaining.
Double left took downstairs by Corrales, and that's something I suspect they would have wanted him to start earlier in this fight, but it's still a very effective idea.
Freitas continues to hammer away with combinations. And then he instantly gets out of range. Both combatants missing there.
In an unofficial poll of 75 fighters and media people and promoters and all the rest, 45 picked Corrales to win and 30 picked Freitas. So it's interesting, a split though, more people going for Corrales. But
nice right hand by Freitas.
What they're watching here tonight may be changing their mind.
And better than 3,000 fans here in the arena want Freitas. Most of them do.
Don't grab him behind the head. Don't
the
grab
caution
him.
by referee Michael Ortega. Freitas grabbing once again behind Corrales' head.
Well, it's no secret Diego Corrales has issues with boxers who have good lateral movement. And in this fight, it's been all about lateral movement for Acelino Freitas, and that has been the one thing that has bedeviled Corrales.
Here's Chico Corrales opening up.
Keep those punches up. Let's go.
A low blow by Corrales being warned by referee Ortega. There's a nice right hand, an unorthodox right. One of those look-away shots by Acelino Freitas.
It's about hand speed right now, Steve. He's quicker than Corrales with his hands.
But back comes Chico Corrales looking to corner Freitas. 15 seconds left in round 6. The focus in the eyes of Chico Corrales. Another right hand by Freitas bouncing off the noggin of Corrales.
In the keys to victory, we said that the right hand would be a very important punch for Acelino Freitas. If he was to do well, it has been. He has landed a series of right hands throughout this fight. Some have been lead right, some have come after a jab like that one. Some have been straight, some have been wide, but for Freitas, that right hand has landed. Look at that counter right hand. And give Corrales credit. He has sustained through those punches because some of those are hard enough, I think, to have created a knockdown.
Ok, a la velocidad y consciente de todo, limitando el cruzado. Hay que limitar ese cruzado para que pueda. Ahora, si lo limitamos,
and limited when you don't throw all cross hands. You need to start throwing all the hands. You need to try to surprise him.
Well, there you have it. Our translator, Anibal Miramontes, is helping us along with the Portuguese. It's been a steady diet of right hands by Acelino Freitas. Why not surprise him with the left? Were the instructions in Popo's corner. Let's see what happens. Boy, look at this combination. Look right upstairs. Both of them connected by the Brazilian. Freitas with the great hand speed, the great right hand. Chico Corrales with the terrific chin.
You know, Aslino Freitas, and you've done so many of his punches or his fights early on, really considered a power puncher, not considered a very good boxer, not considered the boxer-puncher type, but he has really reinvented himself, and now he is very much the boxer-puncher, but Steve still has the power that he had before.
He has really become the complete fighter. Not one-dimensional whatsoever as Corrales goes on the attack. But a quick escape by Aslino Freitas. Here's the press row story. It is close, except for Franklin McNeil of the Newark Star-Ledger, who has Freitas up by 6 points.
Well, I have Freitas at 59-55, so I'm a little more in his category. Certainly Corrales has landed some big power punches, though, and that may have an impact. Some of his punches have been very strong, and I just think more punches have been landed by Freitas.
Freitas complaining to referee Michael Ortega about possible low blows. Ortega, the son of a fighter named Gaspar Indian Ortega, who had 176 fights. Only knocked out twice, once in his lone world title fight to Amir Griffin. We approach the final minute, round 7.
Corrales has been a little bit more effective in pushing Freitas back, but still has been countered a lot. And again, we point out here in round 7, all the energy expended by Freitas, we have to keep a very close eye on him to see if he could sustain this pace.
Stay off his neck, all right?
You heard the warning by referee Ortega to Freitas, stay off the neck of Chico. Look at the quickness and speed of Aslino Freitas. And then a countering right hand up top by Corrales.
You know, Corrales believes that one punch can change this fight for him, and he better believe it now, because he's going to need that.
A series of punches by Freitas. Freitas pouring it on at the end of round 7. Back comes a left hook by Corrales, but that sequence dominated by Aslino Freitas.
But I'm not sure that left hook didn't stun Freitas momentarily.
They're ringing the bell, and there are a few seconds left. I heard the bell. Now they get it. Michael Ortega couldn't hear the bell.
Listen.
Lembra, Papô? Que você vai triste com ele, imediatamente você gira para as costas dele e empurra ele para a corda. Não fica você na corda.
You need to stop more for the same size.
Okay? Não fique na corda nem tanto. I want you to fucking get it together and do exactly what you were doing. You're starting to catch him with that right uppercut. Stop using the jab at the end. You got him with the right hand. So here we go again. I want that right uppercut, left uppercut, working on him.
Toward the end of that round, great exchange between these two boxers. The left hook and the straight right by Freitas, in fact, a 3-punch combination. Corrales wanted this kind of action and encouraged it with Freitas, kind of urging him to come in, but there's the left hook toward the end of the round that I think kind of momentarily pushed Freitas back. But you can see that that was his fighter microcosm. More punches being landed by Freitas.
It is round 8, scheduled for 12 for the WBO lightweight title. Things really getting interesting now. Freitas still bouncing around.
You know, both these men are undefeated, 3-0, when they get to a 12-round decision. So it is conceivable someone's record will change in that regard if we don't see a draw.
Fans of Corrales chanting Chico being drowned out by the Coco fans. They're trying to urge Corrales on here in the 8th.
Freitas landed a right hand a moment ago, then moved away, reset. He's looking to reload every time and then find a different spot. And once Corrales is ready to punch, he's not there. There's an example of it.
Freitas moving side to side, moving back, moving forward. coming in from different angles, trying to confuse Chico Corrales. It has been exquisite strategy of late that has worked for Freitas, but there's a countering left hook by Corrales out of nowhere.
From a right hand to the body by Freitas, over it came the left hook of Corrales.
Well, that had to give Corrales a lot of confidence.
And now, for the first time, Freitas holding on in this fight.
You wonder if he is starting to get tired. All the running around.
Getting caught against the ropes is Freitas.
Freitas in trouble, down he goes.
Rico, 6, 7, 8. Ven aquí, ven aquí.
Marcelino Freitas down for the 6th time in his career. He got up quickly.
Come here. And they're distressed in the corner of Corrales, and Corrales is distressed because it took the referee so long to get the mouthpiece. This gives Freitas an extra break, and they are just beside themselves in the Corrales group.
Joe Vincent is irate. Corrales' trainer is livid. We continue now. Final seconds of round 8. Here you see it now, 25 seconds. Marcelino Freitas running.
He was down twice against Barrios, got up to win by knockout, so you can't count Marcelino Freitas out no matter who hits him. And look, he's regaining that boxing ability right now.
So quite a recovery by Freitas after being knocked down here in the 8th round. Huge round for Corrales.
Joe, I got to replace the mouthpiece. I got to replace it. I got
Okay, don't worry. We're doing okay. We're selecting punch. We're doing okay. Don't worry about the punch. Listen to me. Remember, he's the champion.
Well, here's where the evening changed for Diego Corrales for the better. Freitas had been hurt earlier by a left hook to the head, and here is where that left and a right hand by Corrales sent Freitas down. Freitas' lack of movement created that. He got a little tired. He's languished on the ropes, and he was nailed with these punches. Corrales still missing, but that right hand got there, and boy, Freitas is lucky the last right hand didn't land when he was falling.
Well, there is knockdown number 1. And Marcelino Freitas trying to come back with a huge overhand right.
And he took the left hook for his trouble. The wider Freitas' punches get, the more he thinks he has to be a puncher. They suggested to him, you're not, you're the champion in that corner, meaning that Corrales has to come to him. And by the way, this might be a good time to remind people, Corrales gave up his junior lightweight title to fight for this title. So he's a man without a country should he lose this fight.
So a big gamble by Chico Corrales, but he's got to be feeling a lot better about things after that last round. Corrales' punches are landing with more regularity now as Freitas looks vulnerable all of a sudden.
And while we're still seeing movement from Freitas, we're not seeing as many punches come back from him. Corrales has to be very careful, though. He can't be lulled into thinking, just because he knocked him down once, that he can't be busy in these rounds. He needs to be.
And remember, Diego Corrales has been down 8 times in his career. 5 versus Floyd Mayweather Jr., 3 times in 2 fights with Joe Casamayor. Corrales losing the first, winning the rematch. It's tightening up along Fresh Row. Terry Price of the Hartford Courant now has it all even.
And that's exactly the way I have it. I have an even fight right now. But you can make the case for Freitas maybe being a point or 2 ahead still.
Corrales coming back, using that jab, following it up with a nice right.
This is a much more effective Diego Corrales. The jab's helping him. He's going to the body a little bit more, and less offense coming from Acelino Freitas than we saw earlier.
So the first half of the fight, Acelino Freitas in charge, and now Diego Corrales with the momentum.
There's the jab. Yeah, Corrales now, the punch that he used so effectively against Casamayor, very effective now, and that right hand that missed over the head of Corrales by Freitas, a very telling point. That was thrown very wide, kind of lazily, not like we've seen him throw the right hands earlier.
Well, Corrales did say his jab and his hooks would be keys.
You have to love matches like this with all these ebbs and flows. There are so many different plot changes here.
A lot of drama, a very competitive, entertaining affair here. Right hand down goes Freitas again.
10-7 round, and the reason for that is because not only did it create a knockdown as it landed right on the point of the chin, but because the mouthpiece went out, referee Ortega took an extra point away from Acelino Freitas. Freitas throwing the right to the body and getting countered. This match is all about people countering with big shots. Two of them from Corrales have created knockdowns.
That was a resounding right hand by Chico Corrales. A 10-7 round is now pointed out in favor of Corrales, who has been coming back with a vengeance. We're into round 10, scheduled for 12. It has turned out to be an outstanding fight. Being extra cautious. He's been down 2 times, 7 times in his career. Again, fighting off the ropes, which is dangerous.
He is languishing on the ropes with his hands down, and if he continues to do that, he'll get it with a big left hook or another one of those right hands. Good combo, though, by Freitas.
Freitas coming back there. Doesn't seem to phase the rock-jawed Chico Corrales, missing there with a right, looking to end it on 1 punch. Beautiful combination. Quick hands by Corrales upstairs. Now he's coming through with the jab.
You can make the call.
Oh, a countering left hand to the nose by Freitas.
And Corrales with a good combination as well.
Oh, Freitas is down for the 3rd time.
4,005, 1,006, 1,007, 1,008.
And he's got a minute 35. He doesn't want to fight anymore. He's done. It's over, and Corrales wins it. Diego Corrales wins it in the 10th. As Popo Freitas says, no mas, no mas. After he goes down for the 3rd time in the fight, Diego Chico Corrales at 124 of round 10 unofficially is the new WBO lightweight champion of the world.
He persevered through the early brilliant boxing display of Acelino Freitas. Didn't lose his concentration or his poise.
First loss in the career of Acelino Freitas in 36 fights.
He had been knocked down 3 times, and after the third one, just didn't want to continue anymore. He took some hellacious shots from Diego Corrales.
And what a moment for Corrales.
Look what we did. Look at my team. Look at my squad.
Corrales had already hurt Freitas. Hit a couple of good combinations. And then as Freitas retreated to the ropes, he will get nailed with this right hand. That one actually on the back of the ear, I think it hurt his equilibrium, but he'd already been hurt, really, just previous to that in a big exchange. And that right hand knocked him down, and you see Freitas already showing signs that he doesn't want to continue, and now thinks about it and says, no, I can't go on. That a little bit surprising from a fighter who has been a warrior, though, you know, it's hard to second guess someone who took big punishment with 3 knockdowns. We looked from the top, and here was where that right hand, and actually that was a superb right hand that landed on the ear area of Freitas. And after this third knockdown, you can see he's thinking about whether this should continue at all. And so those early brilliant rounds go for naught for Acelino Freitas, because the power of Corrales ultimately wins the day.
Freitas waving it off. What a stunning, dramatic way for this fight to end. And look at the jubilation with Corrales. No mas, no mas. All over again. How will they react in his native Brazil to what Freitas did tonight? Will he go overnight from hero to GOAT?
It was certainly an excellent effort for the most part on his part. And also, you can say over, and there is Eliana, who is consoling him. She herself had issues this week with the emergency appendectomy.
So Eliana Freitas comforting a very emotional Acelino Freitas. Let's get the official word from our man, ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr.
No, I told you when you came forward, we'd get all the belts. That's what I told you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 minute, 24 seconds in round number 10. A referee in charge, Michael Ortega, acknowledges the fighter and his request, and a referee stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout and new WBO lightweight champion of the world, Diego Chico Corrales.
I need him.
Response from Newcastle. Oh, such power then behind the kick from 4 minutes. There's going to be the stoppage time duration. It's Bentley. Oh, fantastic goal by the youngster. Tangy with Porcel. Nice clip at Morrison. Porcel again. A super little run by Porcel, and an excellent goal. That is real quality. He may have been surplus to requirements for Chelsea, but not so for Birmingham.
Super Sport 3 for the best of soccer.
When playing comedy, Robert De Niro plays it over the top.
There I go. Yeah, below.
Oh boy. Renee Zellweger is sexy.
Bop, bop.
Hugh puts it straight.
Lawyers should be treated with respect.
I have complete respect for you.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Matthew is slapstick.
I'm not gonna hit a girl, okay? This is the first time for everything.
Jennifer plays it dirty.
I had no idea anyone was here.
Eddie Murphy is wild.
How would you like to meet the man of your dreams?
I don't touch a bear's skin.
It all comes down to
Guess what? What's my money? Where's my shoes?
comic timing.
I see me looking at you, looking at me, and I see me. And I like this. That's the type of thing we're going to be doing on the mission.
Now it's your time to love this month with Mnet Movies.
Honey, have we got enough milk? Hon?
No.
Well, there you have it. We have a new WBO lightweight champion in the name of Diego Corrales. Sebastian, just looking at this particular fight, I mean, you said it right in the first couple of rounds, looking at Freitas, that he's not going to last going, you know, he's expending too much energy running around and he paid for it.
Correct, and I think the bad thing about it for Freitas is he never hurt Corrales.
Yeah.
I think we all expect Corrales to go down because of his previous fights.
Yeah.
He had a bit of a yo-yo career, and what was exceptional tonight was that with the weight that he increased, he took the shot so good. Because Freitas is a big puncher, make no mistake, and he caught Corrales a few times flush.
Yeah.
And it unfazed Corrales, so he was focused, determined, and he did what he had to do.
But in the mouthpiece incidents, every time he got knocked out, was that clever or what?
Definitely very, very clever. The amount of time he won there just made enough to recuperate.
Yeah.
He almost came back into the fight. I just think that the pace was too high. It just took too much out of him. He fought the right fight. I think Freitas, maybe the one thing that you can say that's negative is because of his movement, he lost a bit of power.
Yeah.
And I think that was the negative, that's what cost him the fight. But super fight, eh?
Yeah, great fight, absolutely great fight. But I mean, you can't blame him for moving, because we saw just how strong Corrales is, and he can take the punches as well. Now he showed it. So maybe at some point he thought, listen, let me move around, and if I get that sucker punch in, I win it.
Correct, but I would have liked him to just do a little bit smaller movements.
Yeah.
To still change the angles. What he did was 100% correct.
Yeah.
Just not so much total using the ring.
Yeah.
Because that takes out of you. Your legs are going to go in a while. And you could see, I think he took a breather in the 5th round. And then in the 7th round, he was a bit shot. So, yeah, it takes a lot out of you. And his punching rate was high.
Yeah.
He definitely took too much out of him in the early rounds.
Well, let's take a look at Corrales' interview as a new WBO lightweight champion. Here's what he had to say after this fight.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. As we see Popo Freitas leaving the ring, Diego, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Your assessment tonight, it seemed as though you were having trouble with Freitas early with his lateral movement and all of his activity. What turned this fight around?
Actually, it was just taking my time, biding my time. We had our game plan. We knew the early rounds, keep the pace, keep things strong. My pace has been strong. We've worked hard. So we knew keep the pressure on, keep the pace, work behind the jab, work behind the head movement, and pound the body. So that's all we did. We took our time, and by the time we had 12 rounds, 45 minutes worth of fighting to do, that's a lot of time to run.
So you did figure that he was going to tire out with all that movement?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't keep that kind of pace up. I was coming really hard, and I'm pounding to the body as much as possible, and you're missing shots, too. So we were prepared for that kind of fight.
And then you connected with him in the 8th round with your first of the 3 knockdowns. Tell us about what happened there in the 8th round, and it seemed as though he got more than 30 seconds because he spit out his mouthpiece the first of 2 times.
Yeah, you know, it just keeping my eye on the prize. Like, I kept my eye in there, kept everything nice and calm and composed. I kept my defense real tight, and I was catching shots down the middle, down the pipe. I knew, you know, in the later rounds was where it was going to happen at. We worked on the straight shots down the pipe, keeping our hands tight, and that's exactly what played out. In all 3 knockdowns, it was nothing but simple fundamentals, hands high, shots down the pipe.
Were you surprised that he quit? No mas?
Here's the history repeating itself. You know, I was shocked, yeah.
Let me ask you, your corner was very upset, Joe Goosen and your gang over there, as were you, when he spit out the mouthpiece the 2nd time. He got a point penalty, but did you think it should have been more severe for the actions that had happened?
No, because, I mean, I want the ability to take care of my own job. I want to go in and do my job. Do I feel he should have been penalized? Yes, he was penalized. I'm happy with that. The referee did a great job of maintaining things. I I leave it in the referee's hands every time. You know, if a foul comes up, it's the referee's job to take care of it. The referee did a great job. You can't say anything about it.
What do you want to do now? You've moved up in weight class. What are your plans now to do with this title?
You know, you've got a lot of great champions out there. I'd love to see them all. Like I said, I'm here to clean up this division. I really want to prove that I am the best in this division. It all comes down to proving it, and I'm going to put mine on the line. I want to know if everybody else wants to too.
Final thought, Diego. When you lost to Mayweather back January 20th, 2001, you took 2 years off. Did you ever feel you would be back in this position?
I had faith, and I had a great wife that when I did start to lose a little faith, she kind of reinforced it for me, helped me remember what I am and what I can do.
Diego, tremendous performance tonight. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. Back to you, Steve Albert.
Well, there it is, words from the new champion. And I suppose, I mean, he mentions where he wants to go to. But let's take a look at Freitas now. Where to for him? Can he still bounce back?
I think so. I definitely think so. I think maybe 2 warm-up fights and he could be back.
Yeah.
Maybe even a rematch. Listen, he fought the right fight early on.
Yeah.
He really, he even made Corrales look bad early on. So he's not out of it. He's a crowd puller. He's got punching power.
Yeah.
He's a hero back home in Brazil. So definitely not quits for him.
Yeah, you think it was bad for him to quit the way he did? I mean, it was after 3 knockdowns. You can get injured at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm not even going to question his heart. He showed tremendous guts getting up every time. I just think on the night he knew he couldn't beat Corrales.
Yeah.
It's just on the night. He saved himself. Maybe next time he can come out stronger, so who knows.
And before this fight, we actually saw the Thai fighting a little early on, the 3K battery, as they call him. We'll stick to that. And, of course, he was fighting against the young American Steve Forbes. But it's a good fight from 3K at the end of the day.
Very, very good. I think that's going to help his marketability in the States.
Yeah.
Stevie Forbes is a well-known name. We've seen him a few times on Supersport. Very good fighter. Fought the wrong fight as well, I think, on night.
Yeah.
And, yeah, the Thai fighter was unbelievable. I think what is maybe in his future, he could even maybe get a fight against Eric Morales.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And for him, that would be a massive payday. So his whole career is taken to light right now.
Yeah.
It just shows you one fight in the right place, right time, and your career can take off from there.
It can be made. Sebastian, thanks for coming through.
It's a pleasure. Enjoyed it a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, it was great fighting there, what we saw. Well, that's it for boxing for another, Sunday morning. After the break, we'll bring you Super Sport News. Thanks for being with us.
Boxing at its best. Packed with the power of Vodacom.
A laugh a minute on DSTV this August.
Sin is in again on Mnet, sweetie darling.
Split your sides and think of England on BBC Prime.
This Basil, this smack on head. Oh, sorry.
I wish you were dead.
Well, I'm going to find out who's trying to kill me.
And Billy and Bob are back in therapy on Mnet.
Oh, Maria!
All right, I'm the patient. That's enough.
Comedy on DSTV.
So one big happy ending, right?
The SA Fan Song Quest. These were your 5 finalists. And now, the winning song is Song 4.
Watch us play like the African drum. One heartbeat, one nation, one team. The South African team. One heartbeat, one team. The South African team. One heartbeat, one nation, one team. The South African dream, one heartbeat.
Congratulations, South Africa! Now, get behind the team and sing the South African dream.
Perfect conditions this morning as Jane steps up.
She looks focused. Let's see how she does. Forward, 1.5, and perfect entry. Wow. Well, with that performance, I certainly think she is somebody to watch.
With 8 dedicated channels, you'll get the best possible view of the Olympics, 13 to 29 August. DSTV decoders at our lowest prices ever while stocks last.
Just ticking over for the start of the season.
Loads of transfer stories. Find out which club from the SPL made an inquiry for Newcastle's Alan Shearer.
But first, Faria Alam has broken her silence over the FA scandal that led to the resignations of Chief Executive Mark Palios and the Director of Communications Colin Gibson.
The former FA secretary says Palios was behind the attempts to discredit Sven-Göran Eriksson by revealing details of their affair to the News of the World. And her message to Eriksson is clear: quit now before your enemies at the FA force you out.
After maintaining her silence for weeks, Faria Alam has come out fighting, launching a blistering attack on her former employers at the FA. She's heavily critical of one of her ex-lovers, the former FA chief executive Mark Palios. He's accused of being willing to hang her and the England coach to save his own neck after it was revealed both men had had affairs with the former secretary. Miss Alam said attempts by FA Communications chief Colin Gibson to offer the press dirt on Sven in return for leaving Mark Palios alone were scandalous. Speaking in the News of the World, she said Colin Gibson didn't care what happened to me or Sven, but I strongly suspect he was under instructions from Palios to get him off the hook.
The seedy little plot, the shabby carve-up with which the FA, Mark Palios and Gibson, of course, the press man, tried to stitch up both Faria and Sven, is at the heart of this whole cover-up.
Mark Palios and Colin Gibson have now resigned. The England coach has been told he has no case to answer, but his former lover believes he should go anyway. She says, my advice to Sven, as someone who still really cares for him, is to quit the England job now, before his enemies at the FA destroy him.
Sven has been calling her on a daily basis in recent weeks, and the two of them, from where I'm sitting, seem to be extremely close, and they still are very close. As to what happens after tomorrow remains to be seen.
Not surprisingly, officials at the FA want to see an end to this tawdry affair, but Faria Alam is far from sympathetic. She says the whole FA needs to be shaken up from top to bottom. Mark White, Sky Sports.
Leeds kicked off the first game of the new Coca-Cola Championship with a 1-0 win over Derby at Elland Road. Fraser Richardson, a product of Leeds Youth Academy, scored the winner 18 minutes before full-time.
The temperature may have been nudging into the 90s, but the football wasn't quite so hot. Both sides struggled to find their rhythm in the first half, but it was Leeds and Julian Joachim who produced the first serious threat.
What a chance! No!
Derby soaked it all up and thought they should have had a goal themselves just before half-time. Michael Johnson had the ball in the net, but the linesman reckoned the ball had swung into touch before it reached him. After the restart, Dewberry went close for Leeds, and Tudgay did the same for Derby. But with 20 minutes left, the home side eventually got the first goal of the new season. Fraser Richardson finally giving Leeds fans something to cheer. A product of the club's academy, that was his first goal. Leeds played with plenty of energy after that, but there was still a late scare, only Neil Sullivan's injury time save protecting all 3 points. So a new era at Elland Road, and after months of misery, this was just the start they needed. Jim Cockin, Sky Sports.
I think it's important for me because the side's put together is brand new, and the understanding and the confidence can only come from winning games. So it was a crucial win for us today, and that will give the lads a little bit more belief and a little bit more confidence. But today I'm thoroughly delighted with the lads. We look rusty at times, or lack of understanding, should I say, and that will come in time. But they showed some determination today, and we could maybe have finished the game off a little bit quicker than we, and I've had a word with the strikers that if I'm going to be a manager of any length, my strikers better finish the games early so I don't have heart attacks.
Leicester's Dion Dublin and West Ham's Rufus Brevett were sent off in a goalless draw at the Walker Stadium. Dublin was dismissed for violent conduct on a debut that lasted just 18 minutes. Brevett received his second yellow card in the closing stages.
A day for cool heads at the Walkers Stadium. Dion Dublin was to lose his very quickly. The heat had obviously got to Stephen Bywater. The West Ham keeper went walkabout. Leicester's Lillian Alice almost made him pay. Up front, West Ham was straight into the groove. Matthew Etherington pulled 2 to the byline and still found Teddy Sheringham, who neatly set up Hayden Mullins, who untidily blasted over. 16 minutes in and Dublin was marking his debut with a red card. A skirmish with Rufus Brevitt. Violent conduct was the verdict from referee Michael Ryan. Brevitt survived with just a yellow card. The Leicester crowd were incensed at the injustice. The rest of the half cooled down, although West Ham were occasionally finding plenty of space down the middle. The second half should have seen West Ham take advantage of the extra man. Marlon Harewood tested Walker. Sheringham almost gave him the knockout blow. Etherington's effort was their last chance to cash in, before Brevitt's premature departure made it 10 men aside. He and Dublin spent the rest of the match together on the sidelines, where they'll be staying for a while. Peter Staunton, Sky Sports.
Mickey, opening day, very hot, plenty of incident, no goals, but I get your comments on the Dion Dublin sending off. What was your verdict on that?
I want to take the Fifth Amendment, I think, Martin. You know, like you say, it was an extremely hot day. The sun was in my eyes, and it was at the far end of the pitch, you know, but much to do about nothing as far as I could see. But, you know, we will have a look at it, and, you know, the unfortunate thing about it is now that Dion misses the next 3 games. So that's a blow to us.
Reading beat newly promoted Brighton 3-2 at the Medeski Stadium. Brighton opened the scoring after only 19 seconds through Mahita Mulango, but then goals from Dave Kitson, James Harper and Nicky Forster ensured an opening win of the season for Reading. So this was the very early lead for Brighton, just those less than 20 seconds on the clock, and the Swiss striker Mulango opening his account in English football from close range. But the lead didn't last long. Reading equalised via Route 1 just a minute later. Stephen Sidwell heading down for Dave Kitson to score. Well, Reading went in front just before half-time. James Harper making it 2-1 this time. And then in the second half, Reading went on to make it 3-1. Nicky Forster charging the ball down, going off on a solo effort to beat Michael Kuipers with a fierce shot. And Brighton did manage to pull one back, though. Adam Hinchelwood setting up the substitute Jake Robinson. He scored his first league goal for the club, but it finished Reading 3, Brighton 2.
Psychologically, it's important. You know, we got tough away games to come this week, West Ham and then Sheffield United. Nobody would relish those trips. If we hadn't got the 3 points today, they would have been a little bit harder. It's not a cushion, but a positive start. We can now attack those games with some relish.
Mark, is there such a thing as scoring a goal too early?
Well, I think we're always pleased to get any goal, and we were especially pleased that we'd come here and we put out a team that we hoped would score goals, and they did. So regardless of when it comes, the plan worked. Maybe it didn't work quite so well at the other end, but nonetheless we were quite satisfied.
Ipswich came from behind to beat Gillingham at Portman Road. 2-1 the final score. Dean Bowditch getting the winner early in the second half. Gillingham took the lead when Darren Byfield set up captain Paul Smith. Ipswich equalised 10 minutes before half-time. Kevin Horlock with the corner. Richard Naylor on the end of it. The Ipswich winner came just 30 seconds into the second half. Great young English prospect, Dean Bowditch, with a lovely finish.
Typical Ipswich fashion, gave away a bizarre goal from our free kick. We contrived to lose a goal, got back in it, and I thought second half we were quite comfortable, to be honest with you. We should have had more goals. We will play better, we can play better, but the 3 points are all important.
Wigan and Nottingham Forest, they drew 1-1 at the JJB. Lee McCulloch giving Wigan the lead before Gareth Taylor's equaliser early in the second half. Well, Wigan took the lead in controversial circumstances, appeals everywhere as Jason Roberts appeared to handle the ball and also push a defender in that build-up to Lee McCulloch's opener. But despite the protest, the goal stood. But then Gareth Taylor hit back early in the second half. Again protest. This time, though, it was Wigan appealing for offside. But again, it didn't matter, and the goal stood.
I think we played really well today. We just the only thing missing today was the right result for as far as we're concerned. That's out of our control. You can only go out there and do your best, and we did that. And another day, might have won a game 5 or 6-1.
From the point of view of the performance, could you have been much happier with the team?
No, not at all. I think that everything that we've asked them to do, they've gone out there and tried to do and done, to be fair. And had the majority of the play, 24 shots on target, on goals. So I'm pleased with the effort and the performance. Obviously, bitterly disappointed with the result.
Peter Reid's Coventry were 2-0 winners over his former club Sunderland at Highfield Road. Both goals coming in the final 10 minutes. Patrick Sufo gave them the lead from the penalty spot before Eddie Johnson wrapped things up with his first goal for the club.
Almost 2 years since leaving Wearside, Peter Reid faced his former club for the first time, with Coventry and Sunderland sights both firmly set on a top 6 finish. And it was his new-look Coventry side who had the better of the first half. Gary McSheffrey stung Mark Coombs' fingertips early on. And then Eddie Johnson, on loan from Manchester United, put in Bjarni Gudjonsson. The Icelandic international was caught in 2 minds. Carl Robinson had Sunderland's best chance of the half, in which both sides struggled in the final third. There was time for Reid and Mick McCarthy to share a joke at the break, but it was once again the Coventry boss who would have been happier with his side's performance in the second half. Coombe was again the busier keeper, as twice in less than a minute he denied the home attack. Kevin Kyle's pre-season had been interrupted by a hip injury. He made an instant impact for Sunderland as he came off the bench, only to be denied by an excellent tackle by Richard Shaw. Coventry went ahead with 8 minutes to go after a moment of madness from George McCartney. Patrick Sufo finally beating Coombe with a smart spot kick. Eddie Johnson rounded off an excellent debut, making it 2-0 as the game headed into time added on. Handing Peter Reid an opening day win against his old club, Coventry starting their final season at Highfield Road, top of the Championship. Tony Campbell, Sky Sports.
I thought it was a tough game. I thought they played some lovely stuff and had plenty of possession. But I thought we were always a threat. I don't know what the shot count was, but I know we had plenty and defended well when we had to do. But to get off to a win, first game of the season, is brilliant. And I thought 2 sets of players did a great job out there in very, very difficult conditions, and it was a good game.
The natural reaction to the result is one of disappointment, of course. I think the game was going nowhere. I think we've done enough to get a point out of it. I'm just seeing the penalty. I had no argument with the penalty. I thought it was one. Apart from the start of the second half, when they had a little flurry and Pumi had to make a save, there's been nothing in the game. I don't think a lot of chances either way, but I thought we'd done enough as the away team for a point, so hugely disappointed.
Well, Queen's Park Rangers drew 1-1 with Rotherham at Loftus Road. Both goals were scored in the opening 15 minutes of the match. QPR opened the scoring. They got on the score sheet first. Just 5 minutes gone, Richard Johnson with the cross and Gareth Ainsworth with the header. But then Rotherham were to equalise just 10 minutes later, their new signing Paul Shaw scoring on his debut, and that made it 1-1.
It's over 100 down here, and that really did have a bearing on the game. You know, I felt people were running out of steam, they looked tired, you know, but generally on the whole I was quite pleased. You know, I'm just disappointed that we, when we did have the possession, we didn't get that final ball in to create a few more problems against Rotherham, and we let a goal in on that set piece. But generally I'm not that upset.
Burnley and Sheffield United drew 1-1 at Turf Moor. Andy Gray equalising for United after Micah Hyde had given Burnley the lead. Here then the goals. First one from Hyde after 16 minutes. They all count. 7 minutes into the second half, Gray's equaliser, so 1-1 it finished. Point share.
Well, Preston were 2-1 winners over Watford at Deepdale. Richard Cresswell and David Healy scoring for Preston, either side of Paul Devlin's goal for Watford. Well, Richard Cresswell gave them the lead just on half-time. But then in the second half, Paul Devlin levelled for Watford, but a David Healy penalty sealed all 3 points for Craig Brown's side.
Newly promoted Plymouth were held to a goalless draw by Millwall at Home Park. Few chances for either side in a match that saw Millwall's Paul Ifill carried off on a stretcher. Well, Ifill off before half-time after landing heavily following a challenge. A bad start to the new season for one of their most influential players. Plymouth nearly took the lead after the break. Millwall's keeper Graham Stack almost taking too long. Stefan Moore, on loan from Aston Villa, almost gave Millwall a winning start, but his late effort was kept out by Plymouth keeper Luke McCormick.
Well, there was also a draw at Gresty Road, where Crewe were held by Cardiff. Dean Ashton opened the scoring for Crewe with a 5th-minute penalty before Cardiff took the lead through John Robinson and Alan Lee. Michael Higdon scored Crewe's late equaliser. Well, handball in the Cardiff box allowed Crewe to take the early lead through that Dean Ashton penalty. But then just before half-time, it was 1-1, John Robinson the scorer. But then Cardiff went in front on 59 minutes, a terrific goal from Alan Lee. And then Michael Higdon with the equaliser 5 minutes in the end, making it Crewe 2, Cardiff 2.
Up next, all the news from Leagues 1 and 2.
Including how the newly created MK Dons got on in their first competitive match.
And outfoxed how Leicestershire toppled holders Surrey to win the 2020 Cup.
That's it, that's won it. Leicester have won the 2020 Cup. Will there be a party? Well, they're not linking arms now. Look at this crowd. Wonderful performance from the Leicester Foxes.
This August, it's time to show your true colours with DSTV. Black, green or gold. Make your choice in the Tri-Nations. Full provincial colours are on display. This is Currie Cup rugby at its best. Dress up in white, blue or green and join the boys as they head for Sri Lanka. Sensational hits just keep on coming in the Major League full-screen action on ESPN. The colourful characters in the NFL celebrate the new season. In the land of the stars and the stripes, the emotional affair starts on the 30th. Find out who will have the last laugh on the greens in the final major of the year. Celebrate humanity as nations unite. Supersport brings you 8 dedicated channels with all the colourful emotion. Multicolored sports coverage this August on DSTV.
Life can be very simple.
I've seen you burp, barf, pick your nose, scratch your butt.
But it's usually extremely complicated.
Stop living in the movies.
Why you look so sad? The tears are in your eyes.
Fall in love.
All you have to do is
believe. Dawson's Creek, Tuesdays at 7 on Series.
We are the fans. We live for that moment. When it happens, we unite. The time has come to experience every emotion. DSTV, so much more.
This is Sky Sports News through the night.
Farai Alam has told Sven-Göran Eriksson to resign now before his enemies at the FA force him out.
More on that later, as well as news from Leagues 1 and 2. But now cricket, and Leicestershire have won the 2020 Cup after beating defending champions Surrey by 7 wickets in a dramatic final at Edgbaston. Captain Brad Hodge made 77 not out as Leicestershire successfully chased their target of 169. Ali Brown top scored for Surrey, smashing 64 of just 41 balls. Jeremy Snape scored the winning runs for the Foxes with 5 balls to spare.
Surrey's unbeaten record in 2020 had survived by just 1 run in the semi. Come the final, they batted first and ran straight into trouble. James Benning slicing, Claude Henderson under it. Problem averted by Ali Brown. The pinch hitter back to his devastating best. Surrey with 48 on the board from 5 overs. And Leicester doing themselves no favours. Otis Gibson dropping Brown. It was 90 from 10. Brown celebrating his 50 with a free hit. His 64 gave the Surrey innings solid foundations. Adam Hollyoak's last big innings was a rare disappointment. 4 and out. His side, though, ended with 168, the highest total of the day.
I don't think that's a bad score at all. I think the lights are on, and I think we've got a decent total there.
Surrey was struggling under the lights. And Leicestershire were right on the pace from the start. Darren Maddy and Brad Hodge powering on to 62 between them. Philip Sampson destroyed that partnership. Surrey's hopes rose, but not by much.
What would you do here as skipper?
Panic. His worries were well-founded. Jeremy Snape struck the telling blows. Hollyoak's last over, going for 16. And Snape hit the winning runs. Hodge ended up with 77, and Surrey had finally been beaten in 2020. Peter Staunton, Sky Sports.
It's the most prolific run scorer in the history of 2020. At least I'm not entirely sure. I see Brad Hodge might have just sneaked past you with that 70-odd.
Yeah, I think he's just gone past me, but I'll allow him to for this year because he's just winning the game. Absolutely fantastic. The boys are ecstatic. My voice is gone from shouting and screaming too much, but no, it's been a brilliant day, and we're just so relieved that we've come away with the trophy.
I suppose when you've been in enough of those at the end, you're going to lose the odd one, so you know, you've got to keep trying, keep coming back and trying to do those to bowl at the end, and if you don't bowl at the end, then you never know what it's like to win or lose, so that's life. Win some, you lose some.
Well, the West Indies have warmed up for next week's 3rd test against England with a crushing 315-run win over Derbyshire. Reserve wicketkeeper Carlton Bourne made 150 not out, as the West Indies declared at 368 for 6, and that left Derbyshire chasing 404. They made just 88. Fidel Edwards took 5 for 22.
Now, the Milton Keynes Dons have played their first competitive match since changing their name from Wimbledon. The League One club were held to a 1-1 draw by Barnsley at the National Hockey Stadium.
For players and fans nationwide, it's been an historic day, but in Milton Keynes, they've been experiencing 2 lots of history. Their first match in Coca-Cola League One and their first competitive game with a new name. Who have you come to support today?
MK Dons, of course. We're using the name because we're in Milton Keynes now, so therefore you've got to use the name. It wouldn't matter what team come to the city, they were going to be called Milton Keynes in the end. So, no, good.
There are those, though, who refuse to use the new name or wear the new kit. Not MK Dons.
No, Wimbledon. I'm a Wimbledon fan, been all my life. I support Wimbledon. I come up Milton Keynes to support Wimbledon today.
The new kit comes with a new badge. It's an M on top of a lying down K to form a sideways D with the year 2004 in Roman numerals. And here's another way of saying the same thing. The Dons only exist in 2004 because, like him or loathe him, of the chairman, Pete Winkleman. With the club now out of administration, work on a new stadium starts soon. Winkleman says the current home, the National Hockey Stadium, isn't economically sustainable. For him, the NHS isn't working. MK Dons face Barnsley, another club with better days behind it, another club with a controversial figurehead.
We've brought 11 new players in.
that says what we felt about our ability to compete at the top of what is now Coca-Cola League One. I hope the players who were brought in will do better than we did last season.
It was Ridgedale who was smiling after 22 minutes. New signing Paul Reed finding the net. But the Dons have a few new players of their own, and one of them, Eyes on McLeod, equalised with a bit of help from Nick Colgan.
It's been a difficult time, and we've come through that, hopefully. It's not all going to happen at once. First game of the season is always difficult for everybody. And we won the first game of the season last year, so I'm quite glad we didn't win this year, because we all know what's happened then.
A goal conceded, a goal scored, out of administration, but still not out of the woods. For Milton Keynes, it's swings and roundabouts. Well, mainly roundabouts, actually. Gary Cottrell, Sky Sports.
Well, elsewhere in League One, Colchester recorded the result of the day with a 3-0 win at Hillsborough. They left it late, though, with all 3 goals coming in the last 5 minutes. Craig Fagan got the first. Sam Stockley then added a second before Joe Keith completed the scoring with a spectacular free kick.
Bradford began life in League One with a defeat at Hartlepool, Dean Windass giving City a second-half lead. Steve Schumacher equalised and Hugh Robertson scored the winner. His free kick somehow finding a way past keeper Ross Turnbull.
Walsall edged out Port Vale at the Bescot. Teenage substitute Leroy Williams putting 10-man Walsall 2-1 up 8 minutes from time. And then Darryl Taylor, another teenage sub, scored the third on his debut to seal the win.
Colin Hendry's managerial debut ended in defeat as Blackpool lost to newly promoted Doncaster. Leo Fortune West completing the scoring.
And Hull also started the season with a win. They were awarded a controversial penalty, though, after Bournemouth's Neil Young was penalised for handball. Stuart Green then sealed the win, despite missing another penalty later on in the game.
Brian Tignon's Bristol City drew 1-1 with Torquay. Leroy Lita had headed City in front, but Steve Wood equalised with 20 minutes left to play after Tommy Docherty had conceded a penalty.
Huddersfield ensured all 4 promoted sides ended the day unbeaten. They trailed Stockport 2-1 with 3 minutes left before Andy Booth headed an equaliser. And then deep into injury time, Powell Abbott scored the winner to give Town all 3 points.
Chesterfield beat Brentford at Saltergate. Wayne Allison opened the scoring on his 750th league appearance. He limped off injured soon after that, though, but his replacement, Caleb Folan, made it 2-0 midway through the second half.
Wrexham edged out Swindon at the racecourse. Dennis Lawrence put them ahead before a Chris Armstrong penalty secured the 3 points.
And Peterborough beat Tranmere at London Road. Saggy Burton heading the winner 10 minutes from time.
Well, now to the Community Shield between Arsenal and Manchester United. Ashley Cole has been stressing the importance of a good start to the season, and that means winning a trophy against your biggest rivals.
Arsenal's international defender entertained fans with some goal scoring at the club's recent Open Day at Highbury. Now, though, time's running out before the big kick-off at the Millennium Stadium.
You're playing against a great team and you can't go into the game not focused, because they'll either batter you 5-0 or something like that, or you'll get injured. So I think the lads are up for it and we feel fit, and again we're just ticking over for the start of the season.
Arsenal proved unbeatable last season, and clearly now they're still the team to beat.
You have to go into the season thinking you can't get beat like we did last season, but again it makes it harder for us because everyone's going to try 10 times more to beat you. So we have to be on our game every game, every Saturday, every Tuesday, and there's a lot of games, so we have to be focused for a lot of time.
Look at me in the eyes and tell me, will you be champions at the end of the season?
Yeah, we will.
Confidence is high then, even with their captain in the spotlight. Patrick Vieira sat out the Amsterdam tournament through injury as speculation continues about Vieira's future.
No one really talks about it. At the end of the day, it's down to Pat what he does. Of course, he's a great mate of Van and a great player. It would be sad for him to go, but it's his decision. He's been here for 8 years, and And he's played really well since he's been here, and it's down to him.
As Arsene Wenger prepares for the new season, his players are desperate to kick off with a winning start in Cardiff before their opening Premiership game away at Everton. Brian Swanson, Sky Sports.
Yeah, it should be quite a match. We'll be live in Cardiff later in the morning for all the Community Shield build-up and full match coverage from 2:30, and that'll be on Sky Sports 1.
It comes around quickly, doesn't it?
It does.
More reaction from the Championship still to come here on Sky Sports News.
And also on the way, a full roundup of the latest transfer news, including Harry Redknapp on bringing Michael Carrick to Fratton Park.
I've known him for a long time, and he's a great lad. He really is. He's a good footballer. And if Arsenal want you, then it's very hard to turn them down. But if that doesn't materialise, then obviously I'd love to take him here.
There's bad news for Birmingham as Emil Heskey is injured in their pre-season match against Osasuna.
Nicolas Anelka shines for Manchester City in an impressive win over Lazio.
And we've got all the news from League Two, including how Shrewsbury got on their first game back in the Football League.
He's hit the thing cuts him ahead and down. What a goal! He's done it again. 2-1. Waiting to deliver. Here. That's forced it in. Right now. Except the flag is up. Ball has just begun. The best is yet to come. It wasn't the most convincing of second shots, but beautiful strokes.
64, 69, 69, 69.
Don't stop, whatever it takes. You have to carry on. Whatever happens, we never will be done.
Hey, Zone Boy, wake up. It's time to put your potential to use.
Right on, boss.
To enjoy all the features of the Super Sport Zone, press 20 on your DSTV remote. Wait for the yellow line to appear. To move the line, use these arrow buttons. Now, to access Action Attractions Highlight Z, press OK to enter and select Action Attractions. The day's premiere events will be displayed. You can also access the next day's schedule by using the right arrow button. To scroll down or up, use these buttons. To view a full week schedule of your favorite sport, use Main Menu. Select your desired sport. Choose Action Attractions. Press OK, and you're in. Try it out. Go to Channel 20 and play around with the arrows, OK, and Exit. The Super Sport Zone.
Hey, what are you waiting for? Get a little pushy.
Hello there, this is Sky Sports News through the night, and these are the top stories.
Faria Alam has broken her silence on the FA scandal and has urged Sven to quit his job or risk being forced out.
Leeds began life outside the Premiership with a 1-0 win over Derby. Fraser Richardson got the goal.
Dion Dublin and Rufus Brevett were sent off in a goalless draw between Leicester and West Ham.
And Leicestershire beat Surrey in the final of the 2020 Cup at Edgbaston.
With just a week to go until the start of the season, Birmingham striker Emil Heskey has been taken to hospital after being injured in a friendly against Osasuna. Heskey, whose City's record signing fell heavily, challenging for a pass from Stan Lazaridis and collapsed immediately. He was taken off on a stretcher and taken to hospital for a scan on his leg. Not good news for Steve Bruce and Birmingham, with the Premiership starting in a matter of days.
Tottenham have signed the Cameroon international Timothy Atuba from the Swiss side FC Basel, subject to a medical and personal terms. Atuba, who scored against Liverpool in the Champions League 2 seasons ago, is a left-sided player who can play at full-back or in midfield. He's 22 years of age and he has 13 international caps.
Harry Redknapp hasn't given up hope of signing Michael Carrick. Portsmouth have agreed a fee with West Ham for the midfielder, but the deal may be hijacked after Arsene Wenger admitted he was interested in bringing Carrick to Arsenal.
I was surprised Arsenal have come in and shown an interest, but what can you do when Arsenal come in? Michael's got to do what's best for himself, and I've known him for a long time, and he's a great lad. He really is. He's a good footballer. And if Arsenal want you, then it's very hard to turn them down. But if that doesn't materialise, then obviously I'd love to take him here.
You said 2 or 3. I mean, are you actually hoping you might kick off with 2 or 3 more in this?
We need 2 or 3 players for sure, because we're too thin. You know, the squad's really got no depth at all, and a couple of injuries will be desperate again very early. So we do need to do that. I think we all know that. The chairman, myself, we all know that. We're all looking to put it right.
But when money's tight, you've got a ceiling.
Well, no, we've had a go. I mean, you know, we had a go to get Michael Carrick. I mean, that was, you know, the chairman's pushed the boat out big time there, and it's, for, you know, but a lot of other clubs have as well. When you see Palace making a £3 million offer, West Brom as well, you know, there was a lot of people. Everybody knows the importance of staying in the Premier League. It's the only league to play in now, and all the rewards are there. And you know, with Sky, with the football, you've got to be in the top division, and so West Brom have gone out and spent big in the summer and really improved their squad dramatically. They'll be strong this year. Norwich have had a go. It'll be a tough division.
Sir Bobby Robson has confirmed that he received an inquiry from Celtic's manager Martin O'Neill over the availability of Alan Shearer. Robson said O'Neill contacted him during the summer, but both he and the Newcastle chairman Freddie Shepherd rejected the approach. Robson's also revealed they made an inquiry about Henrik Larsson, but were told that the Swede had already made up his mind to leave Britain.
With just a week to go until the new Premiership season, Everton manager David Moyes has insisted he won't rush back Wayne Rooney, the England striker who's a doubt for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Watch from the stands as Everton drew their final pre-season warm-up game with Real Sociedad.
There was an uneasy calm around Goodison Park as the two men wrestling for control of the club sat separately in the director's box for the final game of Everton's pre-season preparations. It all looked depressing as Real Sociedad cruised into a 2-goal lead. First, Kovacevic's header flew past the recently head-shaved Nigel Martin, and just after half an hour, Kvecki made it 2 with this shot from way out. Within 2 minutes, though, Everton gave the 11,000 watching something to cheer. Campbell fouled in the box, and Gravesen scored from the spot. Watching Liverpool manager Rafa Benitez might well have been pleased with that, possibly on a scouting mission, with the Danish midfielder being linked with a move to Anfield. The Spaniards made 10 changes at the break, while David Moyes drip-fed his replacements, as Kevin Kilbane nipped in to make it 2-2. Wayne Rooney had to settle for a place in the stands, and David Moyes will not be rushing his recovery.
He's got 2 weeks before he's been given permission to start jogging, but we'll abide by what we've been told and see how he is after that.
Can you set a date on that at all?
No, we're not setting any date because it would only put pressure on him, myself, the club, the physios more importantly, who've done a terrific job with him. So no, we wouldn't put a date on it.
It was a good run out for you lads.
It was, aye. The first half was very good. Good game, you know, and they were a good team. So it was a good test for us.
A week to go. Are you ready?
Well, we will be ready because that's when the start comes around. So. Who knows, but I think the boys are in good form, you know. They're doing the best they possibly can, and I can't ask for any more.
Everton's next visitors to Goodison Park are champions Arsenal. There's some important decisions to be made before the Premiership starts in earnest. Alan Myers, Sky Sports.
After being linked with moves to both Barcelona and Monaco recently, Nicolas Anelka has underlined his importance to Manchester City. He scored after only 40 seconds in the 3-1 win over Lazio.
Linked with a possible move away from Manchester City, all eyes were on Nicolas Anelka, except it would appear those of Lazio defenders, as the striker gave his side the lead inside the first minute of this friendly. And Saburski came close to doubling the home side's lead just before half-time. Stephen Jordan, on for Ben Thatcher, tried his luck early in the second period, but his shot flashed agonisingly wide of its intended target. Robbie Fowler's replacement, Jonathan Macken, though, fared much better with a fine strike to make it 2-0 to Manchester City. Almost immediately, Lazio pulled a goal back, courtesy of Massimo Oddo's penalty. Manchester City's third goal also came from a penalty, Saburski doing the honours. A comfortable victory for the home side in which Nicolas Anelka underlined what a loss his services would be. Defeat for Lazio suggesting perhaps Paolo Di Canio's assistance wouldn't go amiss.
Di Canio has proved to be a great professional. Therefore, if this event would happen, he would be very pleased, as well as the club.
I like Nicolas, I like the man, but I like also the player. He is, I think, in the 2-3 best player in England, and I think in Europe. And we need him because he scored many goals, and he can bring a lot of things for the team. We need him because he is a very good player, I repeat, and a very good man.
A morale-boosting success then for Manchester City ahead of their opening Premiership game at home to Fulham next week. David Craig, Sky Sports.
Bolton came from a goal down to earn a 1-1 draw with Real Zaragoza at the Reebok Stadium in their final pre-season friendly. They kick off their Premiership campaign at home to Charlton next weekend.
Bolton's final warm-up game finished all square against Real Zaragoza. Sam Allardyce's team will certainly carry a threat in the air from set plays this season. Gary Speed scored a number of goals for Newcastle with his head. He was wide on this occasion. And Speed couldn't quite convert a chance fashioned from a corner routine after Ferdinand and Pedersen had flicked on a delivery from a Kocha. The Primera Liga team went ahead on 36 minutes. Bolton's defence was caught out by Galetti's long ball. The lob from Goran Drulic found the net, despite an effort from Riley Jordi to keep it out. Stelios Giannakopoulos had the summer of his life, helping Greece win the European Championships. After his introduction as a second-half substitute, he claimed Bolton's equalising goal 11 minutes from time. Bolton took a look at the Nigerian international Blessing Kaku in the second half. Assistant manager Phil Brown explained that the Israeli-based player is someone they're keen to look at.
We'd like to have another look. We're not too sure if that's going to be the case, whether his club will allow him to, but with a bit of luck and a bit of persuasion from Sam, we'll have another look at him, and who knows, like I say, he painted 1 or 2 very good pictures.
Sam Allardyce is targeting up to 4 new players. Transfer activity at the Reebok Stadium this week remains a possibility. Peter Smith, Sky Sports.
Well, you're watching Sky Sports News through the night, and coming up, all the news from the opening games in League Two.
Faraya Alam has broken her silence over the FA scandal that led to the resignation of Mark Palios. We'll have more on that. Plus,
there's action from Speedway's World Cup final.
Tri Nations is wide open after Australia triumph in Sydney.
And we are with the British Olympic swimming team as they prepare for Athens.
He's hit the thing up. Cuts to the head and down. Oh, what a goal! He's done it again. 2-1. Waiting to deliver. Here. Except the flag is up. Only just begun. The best is yet to come.
It was one of the most convincing of
second shot. Beautiful shot.
64, 69, 69, 69.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be
this is amazing.
Our troubles are all the same.
And unit ready?
First rule of slang, don't die.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer goes cult, Friday at 9 on Series.
Thursday on Engine Premier Soccer, the return of the Engine boys from their tour to the UK. All this on the one soccer show that gets you up close and personal with the stars of the PSL. The one show that brings you all the Tiski, Shibobo and Celtova. Engine Premier Soccer, exclusive to Supersport every Thursday at 7:30 on Supersport 3. Proudly brought to you by Engine, with us, your number one.
This is Sky Sports News through the night.
Faria Alam has told Sven-Göran Eriksson to resign now before his enemies at the FA force him out.
More now on the day's opening football fixtures. Shrewsbury's first game back in the league ended in a 1-0 defeat by Lincoln at Gay Meadow.
Programmes! First programme of the season, programmes!
The wait was finally over for Shrewsbury Town fans, back in the league after a season in the conference, which for some proved a sobering experience.
Some disappointments away from home. Went by the skin of our teeth through the playoffs on penalties in the semi-final and the final.
Having bounced back at the first attempt, there was plenty of optimism that this season could bring yet another promotion.
We've got a good squad, so hopefully we should get into the playoffs and hopefully see from there.
I think we'll be top half, definitely top half, and hopefully pushing for playoffs.
We've got a new guy at the club with great ambitions for us, so I hope that we stay there this year, maybe go for promotion next year, not to get too carried away too quickly.
And Lincoln City weren't about to let them do that. Michael Blackwood made his intentions clear in the opening minutes. But it was Lincoln's Alan Marriott who was kept the busier of the two keepers as Shrewsbury's chances came and went. It took until the second half for the goal to arrive. Gary Taylor-Fletcher took full advantage of the new offside rule to net an easy goal. Substitute Ryan Lowe almost made all the difference for Shrewsbury, but despite several late chances, they just couldn't find the net.
I thought overall we were probably the better team and had the better chances, but like any football match, if you don't take your chances, you're always going to struggle a little bit.
A disappointing start for the League Two newcomers. They'll need to improve if they're to keep their fans' optimism running high. Vicky Gomersall, Sky Sports.
And elsewhere in League Two, newcomers Chester City travelled to Notts County following the shock departure of manager Mark Wright. Well, they came from a goal down to draw 1-1. Chester were given a penalty after Mike Whitlow handled in the area. Steve Middenhall saved the penalty, but Darrell Clare put in the rebound to earn Chester a point.
Wycombe's Nathan Tyson was taken to hospital after scoring both goals in their 2-1 win over Cambridge. The striker collided with the Cambridge goalkeeper late in the game.
Bristol Rovers beat Mansfield 2-0 at Field Mill thanks to a brace from Junior Ogogo.
Macclesfield were 3-1 winners over Leyton Orient at Brisbane Road. Matthew Tipton with the pick of the goals.
And Scunthorpe came from behind to beat Rochdale 3-1 at Glanford Park. Matthew Sparrow scoring their third goal.
Southend were beaten 2-0 by Cheltenham at Roots Hall. John Milligan and Coyote Odajayi scoring the goals in the first half.
And Bury came from a goal down to beat Yeovil 3-1 at Gig Lane. David Nugent scoring twice.
Darlington secured their first win on the opening day of the season for some 22 years by beating Grimsby 1-0. Ian Clark coming off the bench to score with just 7 minutes left on the clock.
Rushton and Diamonds, they played out a goalless draw against Kidderminster. The Rushton captain Stuart Gray almost scored, but his shot came back off the post.
And Northampton beat Swansea 2-0 thanks to Scott McLeish's opener on 3 minutes, and this own goal by Samuel Ricketts in the second half.
Rugby union now, and Australia's players have kept their Tri-Nations hopes very much alive with a narrow win over New Zealand in Sydney. Now, the Wallabies came from behind to win 23 points to 18 at the Olympic Stadium. Loshi Tukiri scoring the only try of the match, and it proved to be decisive. The result means that Australia, New Zealand and South Africa still in contention.
Sweden have won the Speedway World Cup to successfully defend their title at pool. In a dramatic, controversial night at Wimborne Road, Great Britain took the lead early on. Gary Havelock's Heats 5 victory, earning the team a third consecutive heat win, and more importantly, a 4-point lead. In Heats 18, Britain's Scott Nicholls was in second place when he thought the race was stopped. He slowed down after he thought he saw a stoplight.
He saw the red light, mate. I saw him stop.
There's nothing I can do about that. It's really unfortunate. Nobody else stopped. I'm really sorry. There's nothing to do about it. Sorry.
By Heat 21, the title race was down to Sweden and Great Britain, but Sweden, the world champs, were dealt a huge blow when Mikael Max was hit by Nicky Pedersen. The drama continued into the deciding final race, with Sweden and Great Britain tied at 46 all.
Here we see Peter Carlson. He has a good look at over his shoulder, and he shuts the throttle off there and allows the Swedish rider to go by him. And now he turns the throttle on. And that really was where the World Cup was won and lost.
And it was won by Sweden, lost by Great Britain. The British still looking for their 10th title.
Britain's swimmers are making their final preparations now for the Olympic Games. They're full of praise, though, for the Australian coach Bill Sweetenham, whose training methods have given some of them hope that they'll win gold in Athens.
Hope has returned for Britain's swimmers. After the medals dried up completely in Sydney 4 years ago, the Australian coach Bill Sweetenham has transformed the team from top to bottom with his strict, no-nonsense approach.
He's a very hard sort of character. He's more like an Alex Ferguson type manager and type leader, and a guy that commands respect and commands results, and he commands 110%, and if you're not prepared to give it, then choose another career.
Graham Smith was the last British swimmer to win an Olympic medal back in Atlanta in 1996, but buoyed by a growing camaraderie and a clutch of World Championship medals in the last 3 years, they now command respect again.
4, maybe 8 years ago, maybe as a nation we laughed at a little bit in terms of swimming achievements we've had, whereas now over the last 2 or 3 years, coming away from the World Championships with 7 or 8 medals in 2001 and 2003, and the Commonwealth Games, the achievement we had there, people have had to sit up and take note of us and respect us a lot more.
We're a much more confident group of athletes than we have ever been in the past. I think the team spirit is fantastic because we've been through so much together, good times, bad times, tough times. We've been through so much together that we have a great camaraderie, and I think that spills out into training, outside of training. You know, it's just a fun team to be a part of.
It's been 8 long years since Britain's last Olympic swimming medal, but the tide has now turned and the nation will expect in Athens. Chris Scudder, Sky Sports, Paphos.
Faraya Alam has kissed and told. She's been holed up, giving exclusives to the News of the World and to the Mail on Sunday. This, the News of the World. Palios told me to lie.
The Mail on Sunday, double-page spread. The FA promised me a fortune to lie and betray Sven. They are blanks.
Features in all the other papers too. Do not hound me anymore. More on Ericsson.
And the two Ronnies. The Brazilian ace wants to join Cristiano at Old Trafford. There we are. A lot more still to come on the FA Svengate scandal.
For Destination Football.
These men carry the hopes and dreams of an entire nation.
That typifies the spirit, I think, of this South African team here at Lords. Well, that's a big, big hit. That's cleared the Burberry run by at least. I'll get it, no, you get it. The McCoy team is absolutely delighting as well, he might be.
They are for you on Supersport, your channel of champions.
You think it's easy being a rock star, but between gigs, life happens.
This is my girlfriend.
Celeste.
Celeste.
And then there's the band, the fans,
Can you sign my bra?
and the constant touring. Join the rock star next door on a thrill show ride into the tantric depths of music. The Chris Isaak Show, Thursdays at 9, exclusively on Series.
This is Sky Sports.
For Destination Football.
Faraya Alam breaks her silence on FA scandal.
Leeds kick off new championship season with win over Derby.
Dublin sent off on debut as Leicester draw with West Ham.
And Leicestershire beat Surrey to win the 2020 Cup.
Hello there, welcome to Through the Night here on Sky Sports News.
The 2004-2005 football season is underway. We'll have news from all of the opening day matches,
including action from the Championship as Reading beat newly promoted Brighton. That was at the Medeski Stadium.
Find out how League One newcomers Hull made a winning start to the season.
Tony Adams' Wickham enjoyed a first day win in League Two.
Plus, why Wayne Rooney is a major doubt for England's World Cup qualifiers.
And we'll build up to the Community Shield as FA Cup winners Manchester United face the Premiership champions Arsenal.
You can't go into the game not focused because they'll either batter you 5-0 or something like that, or you'll get injured. So I think the lads are up for it and we feel fit, and again we're just ticking over for the start of the season.
Loads of transfer stories. Find out which club from the SPL made an inquiry for Newcastle's Alan Shearer.
But first, Faria Alam has broken her silence over the FA scandal that led to the resignations of Chief Executive Mark Palios and the Director of Communications Colin Gibson.
The former FA Secretary says Palios was behind the attempts to discredit Sven-Göran Eriksson by revealing details of their affair to the News of the World. And her message to Eriksson is clear: quit now before your enemies at the FA force you out.
After maintaining her silence for weeks, Faria Alam has come out fighting, launching a blistering attack on her former employers at the FA. She's heavily critical of one of her ex-lovers, the former FA Chief Executive Mark Palios. He's accused of being willing to hang her and the England coach to save his own neck after it was revealed both men had had affairs with the former secretary. Miss Alam said attempts by FA Communications Chief Colin Gibson to offer the press dirt on Sven in return for leaving Mark Palios alone were scandalous. Speaking in the News of the World, she said Colin Gibson didn't care what happened to me or Sven, but I strongly suspect he was under instructions from Palios to get him off the hook.
The seedy little plot, the shabby carve-up with which the FA, Mark Palios and Gibson, of course, the press man, tried to stitch up both Faria and Sven, is at the heart of this whole cover-up.
Mark Palios and Colin Gibson have now resigned. The England coach has been told he has no case to answer, but his former lover believes he should go anyway. She says, my advice to Sven, as someone who still really cares for him, is to quit the England job now, before his enemies at the FA destroy him.
Sven has been calling her on a daily basis in recent weeks, and the two of them, from where I'm sitting, seem to be extremely close, and they still are very close. As to what happens after tomorrow remains to be seen.
Not surprisingly, officials at the FA want to see an end to this tawdry affair, but Faria Alam is far from sympathetic. She says the whole FA needs to be shaken up from top to bottom. Mark White, Sky Sports.
Leeds kicked off the first game of the new Coca-Cola Championship with a 1-0 win over Derby at Ellen Road. Fraser Richardson, a product of Leeds Youth Academy, scored the winner 18 minutes before full-time.
The temperature may have been nudging into the 90s, but the football wasn't quite so hot. Both sides struggled to find their rhythm in the first half, but it was Leeds and Julian Joachim who produced the first serious threat.
What a chance! No!
Derby soaked it all up and thought they should have had a goal themselves just before half-time. Michael Johnson had the ball in the net, but the linesman reckoned the ball had swung into touch before it reached him. After the restart, Dewberry went close for Leeds, and Tudgay did the same for Derby. But with 20 minutes left, the home side eventually got the first goal of the new season. Fraser Richardson finally giving Leeds fans something to cheer. A product of the club's academy, that was his first goal. Leeds played with plenty of energy after that, but there was still a late scare, only Neil Sullivan's injury time save protecting all 3 points. So a new era at Elland Road, and after months of misery, this was just the start they needed. Jim Cockin, Sky Sports.
I think it's important for me because the side's put together is brand new, and the understanding and the confidence can only come from winning games. So it was a crucial win for us today, and that will give the lads a little bit more belief and a little bit more confidence. But today I'm thoroughly delighted with the lads. We look rusty at times, or lack of understanding, should I say, and that will come in time. But they showed some determination today, and we could maybe have finished the game off a little bit quicker than we, And I've had a word with the strikers that if I'm going to be a manager of any length, my strikers better finish the games early, so I don't have heart attacks.
Leicester's Dion Dublin and West Ham's Rufus Brevett were sent off in a goalless draw at the Walker Stadium. Dublin was dismissed for violent conduct on a debut that lasted just 18 minutes. Brevett received his second yellow card in the closing stages.
A day for cool heads at the Walkers Stadium. Dion Dublin was to lose his very quickly. The heat had obviously got to Stephen Bywater. The West Ham keeper went walkabout. Leicester's Lillian Alice almost made him pay. Up front, West Ham was straight into the groove. Matthew Etherington pulled 2 to the byline and still found Teddy Sheringham, who neatly set up Hayden Mullins, who untidily blasted over. 16 minutes in and Dublin was marking his debut with a red card. A skirmish with Rufus Brevitt. Violent conduct was the verdict from referee Michael Ryan. Brevitt survived with just a yellow card. The Leicester crowd were incensed at the injustice. The rest of the half cooled down, although West Ham were occasionally finding plenty of space down the middle. The second half should have seen West Ham take advantage of the extra man. Marlon Harewood tested Walker. Sheringham almost gave him the knockout blow. Etherington's effort was their last chance to cash in, before Brevitt's premature departure made it 10 men aside. He and Dublin spent the rest of the match together on the sidelines, where they'll be staying for a while. Peter Staunton, Sky Sports.
Mickey, opening day, very hot, plenty of incident, no goals, but I get your comments on the Dion Dublin sending off. What was your verdict on that?
I want to take the Fifth Amendment, I think, Martin. You know, like you say, it was an extremely hot day. The sun was in my eyes, and it was at the far end of the pitch, you know, but much to do about nothing as far as I could see. But, you know, we will have a look at it, and, you know, the unfortunate thing about it is now that Dion misses the next 3 games. So that's a blow to us.
Reading beat newly promoted Brighton 3-2 at the Medeski Stadium. Brighton opened the scoring after only 19 seconds through Mahita Mulango, but then goals from Dave Kitson, James Harper and Nicky Forster ensured an opening win of the season for Reading. So this was the very early lead for Brighton, just those less than 20 seconds on the clock, and the Swiss striker Mulango opening his account in English football from close range. But the lead didn't last long. Reading equalised via Route 1. Just a minute later, Stephen Sidwell heading down for Dave Kitson to score. Well, Reading went in front just before half-time, James Harper making it 2-1 this time. And then in the second half, Reading went on to make it 3-1. Nicky Forster charging the ball down, going off on a solo effort to beat Michael Kuipers with a fierce shot. And Brighton did manage to pull one back, though. Adam Hinchelwood setting up the substitute Jake Robinson. He scored his first league goal for the club, but it finished Reading 3, Brighton 2.
Psychologically, it's important. You know, we got tough away games to come this week, West Ham and then Sheffield United. Nobody would relish those trips. If we hadn't got the 3 points today, they would have been a little bit harder. It's not a cushion, but a positive start. We can now attack those games with some relish.
Mark, is there such a thing as scoring a goal too early?
Well, I think we're always pleased to get any goal, and we were especially pleased that we'd come here and we put out a team that we hoped would score goals, and they did. So regardless of when it comes, the plan worked. Maybe it didn't work quite so well at the other end, but nonetheless we were quite satisfied.
Ipswich came from behind to beat Gillingham at Portman Road. 2-1 the final score. Dean Bowditch getting the winner early in the second half. Gillingham took the lead when Darren Byfield set up captain Paul Smith. Ipswich equalised 10 minutes before half-time. Kevin Horlock with the corner, Richard Naylor on the end of it. The Ipswich winner came just 30 seconds into the second half. Great young English prospect, Dean Bowditch, with a lovely finish.
Typical Ipswich fashion, gave away a bizarre goal from our free kick. We contrived to lose a goal, got back in it, and I thought second half we were quite comfortable, to be honest with you. We should have had more goals. We will play better, we can play better, but the 3 points are all important.
Wigan and Nottingham Forest, they drew 1-1 at the JJB. Lee McCulloch giving Wigan the lead before Gareth Taylor's equaliser early in the second half. Well, Wigan took the lead in controversial circumstances, appeals everywhere as Jason Roberts appeared to handle the ball and also push a defender in that build-up to Lee McCulloch's opener. But despite the protest, the goal stood. But then Gareth Taylor hit back early in the second half. Again protest. This time, though, it was Wigan appealing for offside. But again, it didn't matter, and the goal stood.
I think we played really well today. We just the only thing missing today was the right result for us, as far as we're concerned. That's out of our control. You can only go out there and do your best, and we did that. And another day, we might have won a game 5 or 6-1.
From the point of view of the performance, could you have been much happier with the team?
No, not at all. I think everything that we've asked them to do, they've gone out there and tried to do and done, to be fair. And had the majority of the play, 24 shots on target, on goals. So I'm pleased with the effort and the performance. Obviously, bitterly disappointed with the result.
Peter Reid's Coventry were 2-0 winners over his former club Sunderland at Highfield Road. Both goals coming in the final 10 minutes. Patrick Sufo gave them the lead from the penalty spot before Eddie Johnson wrapped things up with his first goal for the club.
Almost 2 years since leaving Wearside, Peter Reid faced his former club for the first time, with Coventry and Sunderland sights both firmly set on a top 6 finish. And it was his new-look Coventry side who had the better of the first half. Gary McSheffrey stung Mark Poom's fingertips early on. And then Eddie Johnson, on loan from Manchester United, put in Bjarni Gudjonsson. The Icelandic international was caught in 2 minds. Carl Robinson had Sunderland's best chance of the half, in which both sides struggled in the final third. There was time for Reid and Mick McCarthy to share a joke at the break, but it was once again the Coventry boss who would have been happier with his side's performance in the second half. Poom was again the busier keeper, as twice in less than a minute he denied the home attack. Kevin Kyle's pre-season had been interrupted by a hip injury. He made an instant impact for Sunderland as he came off the bench, only to be denied by an excellent tackle by Richard Shaw. Coventry went ahead with 8 minutes to go after a moment of madness from George McCartney.